Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you can go back to your profile, then I'll make you the host so that I can not be the host.
Oh, all right, sir, no problem. Then I need to leave and I need to rejoin.
Sure.
All right.
Give us 1 second. In the meantime, I'm gonna start the event engine.
All right, sir. Thank you. Right. So for the participants, if you are not in our Slack channel, I will post some links here. So you can join in our CloudCamp Bangladesh Slack channel. Also, you can join with our AWS user group Bangladesh Slack and also Women in Big Data Slack. So I'm posting this link. Just a moment. I'm posting few links with the workshop link also. So we'll go through these workshop.
Where are you posting?
Sir, in the chat.
Oh, okay. In the Slack chat. Got it.
And also in the Slack, I created a Learn Python on AWS channel. So I'm also posting that channel. So, yeah. So, sir, can I start my?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
All right. Thank you, sir. So let me share my screen. And anybody is.
How many teams you need for event engine?
Okay, I'm not the host yet. No problem. So maybe I can.
How many teams you need for event engine?
So since it is 19 or 7, maybe 17 participants, so
I'll give you 20 just in case anybody else join, and we'll make it for 3 days.
All right, so thank you, sir. So, sir, you need to give me the permission to share my screen.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No problem, sir. So let me share my screen. Can anybody confirm that you can see my screen or not?
We can see it.
All right, thank you. So I already posted the workshop link. So we will go through this workshop. For event engine, you will get the event engine link and you just need to sign into the console as I'm showing in the right side. So I'm already in a AWS console. So we will mainly work on the AWS Cloud9 ID. This is an integrated development environment inside AWS. This is a service actually, managed service. So most of the things we will do using Cloud9, and we will learn Python using some of the services like AWS Translate and also DynamoDB. So these two services we'll touch upon throughout our workshop today. So let us see what we'll learn. So from the beginning, you can see my left screen, Learn Python on AWS workshop. So this workshop will teach the basics of Python programming language using AWS or Amazon Web Services. It is aimed at the beginners who never programmed in Python, and it used the similar methods of explaining the basics and other, basics as other books and tutorials also do the same. So what is the difference here? Difference here, we will building on AWS rather than learning how to build some other things like web page or something. So for the setup, we will give you the instruction for signing with your event hash after this workshop. So this part I'll just skip. So I just go through the getting started. So you can actually follow along if you are familiar with the AWS console.
I think, Shohag, would you mind? I'm going to give everybody, I'm sending everybody access. If somebody didn't get it, let me know.
Yes,
but
sir.
Would you want to show everybody how to log in into the event engine?
Definitely, sir. Definitely. So let me. So this is the event engine hash link, which John sir provided just now. So you need to go to this link. Once you go to this link.
Now, hold on 1 second. Just make sure that I got everybody. Give me 1 second. Okay, if you received the event engine, can you raise your hand, please?
Oh, sir,
raise the hand.
You have messaged directly. I think I need to give it to the whole.
Yeah, I'm messaging everybody directly. Don't use don't use Shohag's link. I'm giving everybody a direct link.
Oh, direct link. Okay, sorry, sir. I posted my link in the.
Yeah. Don't use that one. I am sending you a direct link. Okay.
Okay, that will be very good.
If you received it, raise your hand. If you did not, don't raise your hand. Can you raise your hand? Do you know how to do it in like Qazi Akib Abdullah? I gave it to you. Did you get it? Okay, good. Just keep raising your hands, okay? Let me see. Okay, so looks like that we got a lot of people already. Give me 1 second. I want to make sure everybody can follow, you know?
Okay, sir.
Zahid, did you get it? And Wafiq, I gave it to you. Somebody is by the name of the user. Can you change your name, please? Change your name in Zoom. It only says user.
Yeah.
Okay, then I have, I think Shubhashish. Did you get it? If you got it, just raise your hand. Fantastic. Looks like we are almost there. Okay. Shobon, I think you got it. Is that right? Atik, I think I sent it to you. Trina, did I send to you? I think user, the person user I sent to you. I'm not sure who I did not send yet. Trina, did you get it? Trina, unmute করে বলো, হ্যাঁ? তোমরা কে পাও নাই সেটা এখন আমার জানা দরকার, কারণ আমার মনে হয় ওইখানে তুমি পাও নাই না?
Yes, sir.
ওকে, টিনা তোমাকে দিয়ে দেখো এখন আতিক, তুমি কি পাইছো? হ্যাঁ, আচ্ছা আতিক পাইছো, হাত হাত রেইজ করো, তাহলে আমি বুঝতে পারবো যে তুমি পাইছো। হ্যাঁ, ফ্যান্টাস্টিক। ত্রিনা হাত রেইজ করো, হ্যান্ড রেইজ করো। আব্দুল্লাহ, তোমাকে আমি দিছি, হ্যান্ডটা রেইজ করো। মুসাদ্দির, তোমাকেও আমি দিলাম, হ্যান্ডটা রেইজ করো। কে পাও নাই? হু ইজ সেইং? হ্যাঁ,
Tanvir, it's Tanvir.
ও তানভীর।
Yeah.
ওকে তানভীর, তোমাকে দিছি। ইউজার যে বলছো তাকে, তোমাকে কিন্তু পাঠাইছি আমি ডাইরেক্ট। আচ্ছা, এবার আমাদের কয়জন বাকি আছে দেখো তো।
2 3 4 6 স্যার 6 জন দেখা 7 8 জন দেখা যাচ্ছে, তিশা এবং লোকেশ এই দুইজন বাদে 6 জন আর কি।
6 জন না? আমি তো সবাইকেই দিয়ে দিলাম। ও আতিক, তুমি একটু হ্যান্ডটা রেইজ করো, তাইলে আতিক পাইছে। ত্রিনা, তুমি তো পাইছো না? ত্রিনা, ত্রিনাও
হ্যাঁ স্যার,
পাইছে।
আমি পেয়েছি।
হ্যান্ড রেইজ করো, হ্যান্ড রেইজ করো, তাহলে বুঝতে পারতেছি। তুমি
স্যার
হ্যান্ড রেইজ করো। হ্যাঁ বলো, আব্দুল্লাহ হ্যান্ড রেইজ করো। মুসাদ্দির, তুমিও পাওয়ার কথা। ইউজার, ইউজার তোমার নাম কি বলো?
স্যার মোস্তাফিজুর রহমান।
মুস্তাফিজুর রহমান, তোমাকে তো আমি দিছি একটা, ওই যে ডাইরেক্ট একটা লিংক পাঠাইছি না তোমাকে?
জি স্যার।
পাইছো না? তাহলে হ্যান্ড রেইজ করো, হ্যান্ড
আচ্ছা।
রেইজ করো। ওইখানেও একটা বাটন আছে না, বাটনে হ্যান্ড রেইজ করো। হ্যাঁ, গুড।
আচ্ছা স্যার।
আচ্ছা, গুড, তাহলে মনে হয় সবাই পেয়ে গেছে। লোকেশ ভাই, ইউ নিড ওয়ান?
Yes, sir. I haven't got one.
ওকে, ইউ গট ইট মাই ফ্রেন্ড। ওকে, সবাই পেয়ে গেছে তাহলে। এভরিবডি গট ইট। সো তোমরা সবাই ফলো করো, এভরিবডি ফলো দ্য ইনস্ট্রাকশন। ওকে।
All right, sir. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
So whoever got the, I think everyone got the event engine link. So you need to go through the link like I'm doing here. So this is my link. So you don't need to copy my link, as Jamal sir said. So when you go this link, I mean, when you put this link into your browser and you call this endpoint, so you will get something like this screen in the right side. So it will ask you to accept the terms and conditions, terms and login, and hash is already here. I mean, this hash was actually inside the link, so you don't need to type any hash. So this hash is here. You just need to accept terms and login, then you'll get this screen. So from this screen, you can choose from these 3 options. You can choose the one at the first, email one-time password. So it will send you the email to your email address, and it is for actually login with Amazon. Means if you have the retail Amazon.com login credentials, if you have any account with Amazon.com, So you can use this one. And for Amazon employee, they can use this one. So I'll go with this one just to show you for the email. So if I click on the email, because everyone have email, right? So once you click on the email link, then you are asked to provide your email address. So I'll provide my email address here. Then it will send you a passcode to your email address. So let me open my email in another window. Then I will show you how the passcode will look like. You can see this, right? This is kind of passcode you will get. So once you get this passcode, you just copy and paste here, then sign in. So once you sign in, you will get the AWS console access. So once you are there, you can follow along with me. So this is the console. You can go here and set your team name. I'm setting my team, maybe MD Mohammed Rahman with my name, and then set team name. So your team will be set with the event engine. So then you can go to this link, AWS console. When you click here, then you will get another pop-up. Then use this link. In this pop-up, you can click directly on this link and you will be redirected to the
I think
AWS console.
I think Shwag, you can speak Bengali as well. I think you can Shobai Lokesh bhai, you understand Bengali, is that right?
Partially, sir. Partially, not.
Partially. Okay, no problem. If anybody needs any help, you can ask the question.
All right. So which language should I mean? কোন language আমি স্যার তাহলে করব মানে বাংলায় বলবো নাকি ইংলিশে?
No, তুমি ইংরেজিতে বলতে পারো, but if somebody has any problem, make sure that everybody gets it.
Okay.
It doesn't look like everybody logged in yet. So
okay. So once you are logged in, all right, thank you. So once you are logged in with your event engine hash, so you will get this console access, AWS console. What I'll do, I will change the location because if I use this one, US East, North Virginia, so it will having more time for the traffic. So I will be using the nearest one, I mean, which is the best data transmission. So I'll use this Singapore one because
no, I didn't. So hold on. I didn't actually give them access to Singapore. I only picked US East one.
Okay, so I will use my another account for showing up. All right, so you can use your North Virginia because of the time. Sometimes I tested with the US East one for my connection. It takes longer time, so I will just go with another account. So then you can use the US East one. I mean, other people.
So everybody use from US East one. Okay,
right.
You guys need to use from US East one. Mm-hmm.
All right, so I will go for. Just a moment, please. Oh, sorry. And this meeting is recorded. So do I need to record here also, sir?
Yeah, please
right.
Make sure record it. Record locally.
All right, sir. It's showing the recording is in progress. It's okay. So
I logged in the website with the Amazon account. So
All
now there is one thing, three things, which is called the set team name, AWS console, and SSH key. Which one should I press?
You to go to this console, you need to click on the AWS console link in the middle one. And if you want to set your team name, you can click on the first one, set team name, then you can set your name there. After then you can click on the AWS link, the middle one. Okay, Wafik, do you understand?
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you. So now let me show you the changing. You don't need to change this one. I'm just changing for my network connectivity. All right. So now what we'll do, we will start from here, getting started Cloud9. So once you are in the AWS console, you need to go to the AWS Cloud9. So I will go from here in the search box. I'll type Cloud9 and I will click on this link. So it directly take me to the AWS Cloud9 console. So in this console, you will see something like create environment. So we need to click on this. After we click on this, we need to give the environment a name. So as I said earlier, this is an IDE or integrated development environment. So we just using this environment to practice our Python programming here. So we'll give the name, anything we can give. We will give something like learn Python on AWS. Sorry, AWS. So in the next description, we don't need to give anything here. You can also optionally give if you want. And for the default, for the next page, we will keep the default settings and we just click on the next step. So when we click next step, this is the review part. We just review what we have selected earlier in the earlier steps. So we just create here, create environment. Click on the create environment. So it will take a few moments, maybe 1 or 2 minutes. Once it is ready, we'll go with the next process.
I have something to tell.
Sure.
That is, when I'm clicking here, it is telling that remember to only use US East 1 as your region unless otherwise directed by the event operator. So here, when I'm clicking OK, the same display is showing.
Where you are clicking actually?
Here,
তুমি স্ক্রিন শেয়ার দিতে দাও।
আচ্ছা, তুমি স্ক্রিনটা শেয়ার করো। হ্যাঁ, আমি
ওকে ওকে, স্ক্রিন শেয়ারে পারমিশন তোমার দিতে হবে।
আচ্ছা, sure.
Okay.
So this is Wafik.
অথবা সবাইকে পার্টিসিপেন্ট ক্যান শেয়ার স্ক্রিন দিলেই হবে।
Okay.
It always takes extra time to start. Once it starts, then you should be really good.
Yeah. So allow participant. Who can share? All participants. All participants. Okay. Now you can share your screen. Let me stop my sharing. Right.
Wafik, do you know how to share a screen? Yeah, perfect.
Yes.
Click on AWS, go to AWS console.
Here I got this
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah, click on AWS console.
And here I clicked here and it shows like this. And when will I click OK?
No, you will
Yeah.
click here, open
No,
AWS console.
Open AWS console on top.
Okay, I got it.
Sorry.
And here I have
You no need to change the
No,
region
no, don't
here.
change.
Don't change. Yeah.
okay.
All right.
Then I'm stopping it. The screen. Thank you.
You're welcome. So let me share my screen again. Two. All right. So when we create an environment with Cloud9, we'll get something like this. And there was a pop-up I just closed. So we'll get something like this. So in this below part, you get a terminal. So this is the command prompt and a terminal. So in the terminal, if you type Python, it will give you a Python interpreter shell. So in this shell, before the shell, this is called these three less than symbol together. It denotes it is a Python shell. So before this shell starts, it will give some information about your Python installation. So the machine we are working on currently has Python 3.7.10 or 10, the version which is installed on this machine. I mean, this is this AWS Cloud9 IDE is launched on an EC2 instance. So with that EC2 instance, this Python 3.7.10 is installed. So you have to understand this. So everyone can follow along and can tell me if you get something else. Now, in the interactive mode, what we'll do, we just type something. First, I will not type from this copy command because there is some bug here I tested. So I'll just copy from here line by line. So this is just for testing. We'll go through the details of all these things later. So in the interactive shell, if I type a statement like this, some string equal sign, and then we are giving some values inside a double quote. So this sum string, we will go the details about this. So what it does in Python interpreter shell, when we give something like this is called a variable. We are declaring a variable and we are giving a value. So with this variable is something like a memory location. You can put anything in that location, be it a number, be it a text, or be it list or dictionary, anything else. So in Python, there is no statically type convention that you have to follow. That means you do not need to declare any type of the values you are putting in. So for this sum string, we are just we have already assigned these values to our sum string variable. So now if we want to print, we just can print and then just type the sum string. So when we type this, we can see sum string contains this string. So this until this, you are ready to go with our next Python exploration. So this line, what it says, you are in the interactive mode. So how to get out of this mode? I mean, to get out of this mode and go to the terminal again. So for this, you can type exit and these two parentheses and click enter. You will get out of the interactive shell, or also you could press Ctrl+D. So these two works. All right. So next, what we will do, we go to the next step, and this is creating virtual environment. So what is virtual environment? You need to when after this workshop, you'll get 3 days to practice. So in this time, you can go through all the text. I will not go through the text because it will take more time. So you should read all this. So I will just explain a little bit and I will show you the demo. So what is virtual environment? So if this is the case that your machine has more than one Python version installed, or if you are working with different projects, so how you can manage your environment. So let's say you are using some packages for a project and you are using other packages for other projects. So for this code management, there is a virtual environment. There are virtual environments in Python. You can create virtual environment with this command. So I will explain the command. Let me first, I'll just go here and paste this. So this Python is we are calling the Python interpreter. Then -m is equal to, I mean, this -m is calling the module. Which module? It's the VNV. So somebody is calling. Right. So
Uncle,
yeah.
I have another question, that is, I can't get to the console. So how can I go there?
You can go to the console. Which console?
Okay, so here I have that screen, and here.
Okay, you show me the
Share your
screen. You show me the
Share
screen.
your-
Yeah. Share
Okay,
your screen.
I'm sharing the screen again, and here it is showing this.
Mhm.
This. So where?
Need to type in Cloud9 in the search.
Oh,
And will I go here?
no, no, no. This is a
No,
card shell.
just yeah,
Here you can
just
also
type
practice
cloud.
most of the things, but this shell, you will not get the ID. You can practice most of the thing here also, but you need to type in the search box. You type, or you can click on the services and you'll find Cloud9, or you can just type Cloud9 in the search box on the
Okay,
top left, Cloud9. Yep,
Cloud9.
9. Yeah, there is no space. Cloud9. Cloud and 9, then you
Here.
type 9. Yeah, and the first one, the first, yeah.
Okay, so if I
Click
go
on that.
here,
Yes,
I clicked here, and then create environment.
yes, create
I will-
environment, give it a name, anything.
Environment 1.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
So next
No, you
step.
cannot give a space in between, I think.
Okay, so
You go back. Yeah,
environment 1.
yeah,
Next step.
yes, correct.
Next step, and create this.
You keep as is and click on the next step in just on the bottom,
Okay, I
bottom
found,
right. Yeah,
and then create environment.
yes. And next, create environment in the review
Here
page.
I got this Linux.
Linux too, yeah. This is the operating system. You don't need to think about this just now. You just follow along. You can learn this later also. Yep.
Okay,
All right.
I got it.
Yeah, it will take some time. Then
Okay, thank you so
All
much.
right, no problem. You're welcome. So, anybody else having a problem with this console? You can share your screen too. No one, I think. All right, then we were in the creating virtual environments. So for the virtual environments, when we give the command
You need to
Python.
share your screen.
Oh, sorry, sorry. Thanks. I just forgot. I think now it's visible, right? Please confirm if you can see my screen.
Visible, sir.
All right, thank you. So when we give this command Python, then space, then -m means we are calling the module. So VNV is the module, and then we are giving the environment a name. So here my underscore VNV. So we will be creating the VNV, my underscore VNV, this environment. So you can type anything else. Maybe we can type, right? It will be today's environment. Let's say today's, we cannot maybe give the comma. So we just today's VNV. Let's say if we want to separate those words, let's say we can put like this or anything else. So okay, so now we will go with the actually the for better understanding to our audience. So we'll go exactly with the same command. So this is VNB and then my underscore VNB. So this you can see from this directory. We are on this directory. Okay, let me move the charts. Okay. So you can see where we are. Before we just put this command, I will show you one more thing. Where we are, we can see with this Linux command pwd. You can use the same command on Mac also. So we are on the environment folder. So you can see on environment folder, we have something like readme.md. You can see here, right? All right. So when we give this command to create an environment, this command, I'll give this command and see what happens. Then you see here we got a folder structure, my VNV. So as we named our environment. So under this my VNV, we have few folders and also some files, configuration files and some other folders which contains some of the code to activate this environment. So how to activate this? So for Linux and macOS, you just need to source the activate file in the bin folder. You can see this file. So you just need to activate this. I mean, source this file. So from here, if I just click enter, what you see here in the command prompt, you see in the prefix, we see my VNV, but before it didn't have, right? So we are under this my VNV, and now you can see something like this. How many package we have? We'll get to these points more elaborately in the future. I mean, in next lessons. But I will show something here also. So if we see pfridge, so we have nothing, right? So you just keep in mind that we didn't have any package installed, pre-installed here. All right. So in the Windows, for Windows, you just need to go to this my VNV under scripts folder, and under after them activate.ps1. Just you need to issue this command with PowerShell. So that will good. Or also for the Windows, if you use git bash, if you have git bash installed on your system, so you can just issue this command, source command, because git bash is also Unix-like environment inside your Windows. All right, so for the next, we are going next, and we are going in details with the variables. So let us clear the screen, and let me make the screen a little bit bigger. Maybe where was that? You know, sorry.
keep the recording?
Are we keeping the recording? Is it? I mean, we are giving the recording or not? Is it?
Yeah, are you recording the session?
Oh, I'm not recording
just-
actually. I see here the recording in program. I mean, I cannot find any recording button here.
Oh, you don't have the record button?
Don't have maybe. I have what I can see. Okay, I let you show. You can see here, right? You see this.
It's being
pause.
recorded. It's actually being recorded.
Yeah,
It shows it's being recorded.
yeah.
Will be given to the email.
So you mean that will we give the recording to the email? Is it?
আমরা এটা কি পাবো নাকি সেটা জিজ্ঞেস করছি।
We can publish the recording.
Oh, of course.
inside our-
You will get it.
Yeah, you'll get it.
ভাই I have a question that ওই আপনি বাম সাইডে নোট দেখে দেখে যেটা করছেন এই নোটটা আমরা কোথায় পাবো আমাদের প্র্যাকটিসের জন্য লেফট সাইডে যে নোটটা দেখছেন
All right, I already posted inside the chat window, and also if you join in our Slack channel, you will find a channel name learn Python on AWS. I also posted there, so you can get it. Right?
এখন চ্যাট বক্সে পাবো রাইট
Chat box, I posted it at the beginning. You cannot maybe find it now. I will post it.
I'll repost. Don't worry.
All right,
I'll repost.
okay
thank you.
thank you
So now the screen is bigger. Maybe it will help you to see the code I write here. So for the variable part, what I have already told you about variable. A variable, you can think like it's a box. So in any box in practical life, what we can store in a box, anything, right? We can store anything. We can store tools. We can store our books, anything. So you think this variable like a memory address, it's a box inside memory. So in Python, whenever you create a variable, you do not need to explicitly tell Python which kind of data you are putting in. So you can put in that variable anything you like. Actually, anything means we will go through the code here and we'll see what types of things we can put in our variable. So let us go into the Python interpreter again. Yes. Yes. Hello. Who was that?
No, I think it was by mistake. So
All
continue.
right. All right. Thank you. So we are the interpreter again. So now we will test something which I have described about the variables. So let me see. We are giving something like a string. So you can, we already discussed in the previous, we already discussed when we created some string and given some value, right? So here another string.
Uncle, I have another question. That is, how did you get in this position?
Which position?
In your screen, I can see the Python 3 and there is a hyphen and IP, the IP. And in my one, here is BASH.
You type the Python and enter, click enter.
Okay, where?
Okay, show me your screen again, no problem.
Okay. Yes, so I'm again here. So I have cleared all the things. So now where will I go?
You click on the bash. You see in the bash here. Here is your terminal. This is your terminal, right? So
here in your screen there was 3 these things. It was like this.
All right, what I said, you type Python,
Here,
yeah,
Python,
and click enter.
enter. Okay,
Now you see, right?
yes.
All right. So
I
this is the interpreter we are working on. This is Python interactive shell.
Yes, yes.
So, all right. So, can you please stop your sharing?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Now, we are working with another variable here. This is also, we are putting some strings. So when we give this command in the Python interactive shell, this will make or create a underscore string is str, this variable, and it will contain this string inside this variable. So this is string or text we are putting inside our variable, right? So what about float? So if we create something like my float, you can name it anything. Just I will show according to the example so that it will make more sense to you. So if we put something like my float and we give the value my 5.5, so it will store this value to this variable. So we will talk about the this data type in the later chapter, but we just see what Python is doing in
Sir,
terms of
sorry to interrupt, but make the screen bigger so we can see it. Sorry.
which screen you are telling?
This one, the
this one means
black one. Yeah, yeah. The environment one.
the environment one, right? So I already made it bigger, but
It was bigger, but now after stop sharing the screen, it is on the same point.
oh, really? So maybe it's general and maybe under the terminal. This is all right. Can you see?
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. So when we create a variable called my float, it will contain this number with decimal points. What about integer? Integer is a whole number. So if we just create a variable called an integer, as like our example, I can make any variable. So you can make any variable. Just I will go through according to the instruction. So an integer and give it the value of 5. So it will contain the 5, an integer, right? This variable will contain 5. But if you gave value anything else, it would contain that thing whichever you are assigning. This equal sign in Python, it tells interpreter, this is called the assignment operator. We'll talk about the operator in the next, maybe we'll have some operator lessons. So we are telling Python, so for this string, we are telling Python, keep this string into your box. This is the box, means variable. So we are telling here, keep this floating point number to your this variable. And for integer, the same thing happens. So what about the dictionaries or list? So if we type something like this, shopping list, and it contains apples, oranges, and pears, and you see the square bracket. So everything in Python has meaning. So this square bracket means something in Python. So when we create this, it contains list of these things. So here we are actually storing some strings like apples, oranges, and pears. So these three things or string inside square bracket, it creates a list. So how we are telling Python that which type of data we are putting in? So let me give you some example here. So for string, how do you find it that which kind of data it is holding? So you just actually everything is in future we'll see everything. So I'll just give one example here just to give you an idea. So you can see this str. This str means this is the abbreviated form of string. So this this variable is holding string type of data. So what about the type of my float? Let's see my float. So this is the float type of data. So what about the dictionary? Dictionary is a key value pair data type. This is also built-in data type in Python. So you see curly brace, and inside curly brace, you see something like this colon inside two data. So this data is key and corresponding value is here. So this is a dictionary. So when we put like this, it will contain this dictionary data. What about, is anybody talking? I can see somebody talking. Please, if you don't speak, please mute yourself.
Yeah.
Uncle,
Can you mute Sunil? Sunil Kaushal. Just Shohar, just
Yeah, yes,
mute Sunil Kaushal.
right.
Okay, good now.
All right. So what about
I think Wafik had a question.
yes, I
Okay.
had a question, and can I tell?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, that is when I'm opening the console and it is running through a problem every time. Last, it showed up something in the terminal which I can't read, that was too small, and that was a thing like it was broken. So I restarted it, so I missed some points.
I didn't get you actually due to some problem.
When I'm running the terminal, it was running into problems.
Which problem? Can you
And
show me? Please show your
okay,
screen.
but I have restarted it, so now it fixed the problem. The problem is fixed.
Oh, okay, that's good enough. So now let's say, so let's see this example, what it tells. So we are creating another variable called my_var, and we are putting another variable into it. So do we have anything called another variable created already? No, right? So we didn't create any variable yet. So if we run this code here, it will give error because another variable, it will give name error because we don't have any another variable name already defined. So if we want to define something, we need to create that. I mean, if we want to reference something, we need to create that first. So what we can create here, let's say we have some variables already like my float, an integer, or anything like a string. This is already created in the environment. How can we say see this? Maybe we can see a string. We can see this is an example of string. This is showing, right? So it is showing with the code. But how about we print this? So let us print this. Give the comment print. This is a function or method. So this is the actual data. The a string variable is holding. So now if we want to give my variable with this data, a string data, so we can assign this right like this. So now my variable also print same thing because it will hold the same data. Let me change this my underscore var. So it will print the same data, right? A string and this one. So we'll not go into detail here because we have had to cover a lot. I mean, we have to cover a lot more than that. So maybe let us see this one, this example. Let's see test function equal to my function. Will it work? Because we don't have the my function yet. So it will not work now. We will see this when we go to the function, because I do not repeat. I mean, I don't want to repeat the things because we'll see it in the future also. All right. Then example of tuple. Tuple is also a data. It's a data structure or data type, you can say, in Python. So we see list as contains between the square bracket, but when we give something in the parentheses, in between the parentheses, it will create tuple. Tuple is that means difference between list and tuple is tuples are immutable. You cannot change the tuple once created, but list you can change or modify. So this is a tuple example. So what we are showing here, we can hold any data inside any variable we create. So like Boolean is also a very important data structure or data type in Python or any programming language, because total computer science is based on this Boolean, because computer only knows this Boolean, true or false. So let me show you this. Boolean values is true. So if we see these, what these variable hold, it is true. So it can have two states, only true or false. We'll get into it later. So now we have seen enough information about variables. Now let's go to the next, data types. We already talked about data type in our variable section, but we'll go in detail some of the things like string. So here you can see last time when we created a string variable, let's say I'm creating a string for today. So it is, I can create with this is a string. So I can create this string variable data type with double quote, or I can use the same structure and use single quote instead of double quote. So why we will use both, or why we have these two? Because when we want to print something like we want to print a quote inside an actual string like this. So this is a string, right? So this string has quote inside string. So how to print this? So for this purpose, we have to give this single quote. So single quote will hold the total string, and double quote inside the single quote, this double quote will get printed. So how we can see this example? So you see this directly under print, and you just close the parentheses and see the error message was incorrect data type. So you can get printed with the code. So that's why we need this two convention. And now we will see concatenation. So we have first name variable, which is holding Monty, and we have last name variable, which is holding Python. These two string we have with two variables. So how can we concatenate? Concatenate means it will join together. So how can we do this? So if we give this print, and we give the name of the variable plus this plus sign concatenate with the last name. This is the variable. So we are giving two variable as argument, and within these two variable, we are just putting a plus sign. So what it happens, it prints Monty Python, Monty and Python, but there is no space, right? So how to solve this problem? So we can solve with different strategy. Like when we create these two, we can give any one of these, like this Monty, we can give a space after Monty. So after them, we can just create this variable. Then when we print, it will print the with the space, right? Or what we could do, we just create this one, and for the next one, maybe for the Python one, we could give a space before the Python. And when we did do this print, it will also print with the space here, right? All right. So this is not efficient. So we will not do this. So how can we do this more efficiently? This is another way. We will just give a blank string in between two variables. So this will print Python and Monty with a space. So,
Uncle, I have another question.
sure.
And the question is, you show that you are giving a space before the Python. So when I'm clicking in the text, it is not, the text is not going to that. It is in the last console.
Oh, okay. So show me, I will show you how to, I mean, show you a screen, I will show you how to do it.
Okay, so it is like this here, and here I have done this much, and when I'm clicking here, it is not going. Right.
No. You are not clicking. Actually, what I did, I just clicked on my up arrow. So you click up arrow.
Yes.
Up arrow again.
Yes. Then.
Okay. Now you click on the left arrow. Left arrow. Yeah. Then
Yes,
you give
then,
a space.
Space. Okay.
Right.
Then
Okay.
I have to do it again, right?
No, you just see. You don't need to do it everything because we need to cover a lot today. So if anything you need, anywhere you don't need to practice all these together because you will not, you cannot sync with my speed, I think.
Okay.
So, all right. So I think if anywhere you are struggling, you just let me know. Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Or I will show you personally also because I know you, and yeah.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much. Thank you.
All right, no problem. You just see the progress, okay, and you try to do something, but you don't need to think about all the things now. All right, so what we are doing now, we have shown how we can give the space in between, right? So let me, but don't refrain yourself to show me if you are really stuck in between anywhere, okay? Wafik? All right.
Yes, I'm here.
All right. So let us proceed some further. So how, I mean, using variables in strings. So there are a lot of ways we can do this in terms of formatting. So there are two methods here. So I'll show you a quick rundown on it. So we are giving another, I mean, creating another variable with the name of first underscore name, and we are assigning this value John to this first name variable. Okay. So this first name, now if you see this first name, this is containing John. Okay. Now we'll give another variable which is son name. And if you see what it contains, the surname contains do. Okay. Now For the dot format, what is the structure? So the structure is you just give the give your sorry. For structure is you just in the print statement you just give the double quote first. You start with the double quote, then you give your string which you want to print along with your variables, right? So we are giving this, my first name is, then we are putting a placeholder. This placeholder is curly brace, two curly brace, closing and opening and closing curly brace. So this curly brace will hold something, will show what it holds. And then we are closing with dot this part, and then we are proceeding with the sentence. My family name is, then we are giving another placeholder, and then we are closing the second, double quote. So after then, what we are doing, we are giving dot format. After dot format, inside dot format, we are giving these two variable name, first name and surname. So first placeholder will get the value from this first name, and second placeholder, this one, will get the value from this surname variable. How did happens? We see my first name is John. So why where we get the John? John is on the first name, right? So we are getting from the first name variable the data we are getting from this here, and from the surname we are getting Doe. Clear?
Uncle, that means you are using the second bracket, and second bracket is the format, right?
It's not second bracket, it's called curly braces. So
What?
in Python we are calling, in Bangladesh we call it first bracket, this one,
Yes.
I show you, this one we call first bracket, right? But
Yes.
in Python or in any programming language is called parenthesis.
Parenthesis. Yes.
Parenthesis. And for second bracket, what we call in Bangladesh,
Second bracket.
in our education system. So it is actually in programming languages term, it is called curly braces, or in mathematics in other countries. I mean, in US, I saw they use curly braces. So this is called curly braces. So for the this third bracket we call, this is in programming we call it square bracket.
Square bracket. Okay. Thank.
All right, thank you. All right, then we have seen how this format method works within the strings to format the string. Then we will see another method, which is f strings. So what about we just print the same variable with this f string method? So what we are doing here, inside the print function or method, we are giving f. F means here f string, and then we are giving our for the print, you already have seen that we need to give anything we print, we need to give inside double quote. So we start the double quote, we give the string we want to print, then we give the curly braces, and inside curly brace we are giving the variable which we want to actually this just a better one than this one. So we are giving just the name inside the curly brace, and then same as the previous one, but here we don't have any first name variable like this, so we need to change this first name because our first name variable is first underscore name. So we need to give this name first name, and my family name is surname because surname is we already have, right? So here we can see it prints the same thing as as our dot format notation. So at this end, I mean, at this stage, we have learned some strings things. So let's proceed with the number. So what is integer? Integer is the whole number, like we have seen this here. It's already very up. So let me show you again. Let's say I have a variable called number, and I want to put something like 100 or 120. So what type of data is this? Is this a whole number or is this a decimal number? Can anybody tell me that I'm putting number underscore 1 in 120 and number underscore 2 I put 120.0. Is these two variables are same and two data are same?
Different. First
Different?
is a whole number, second is a decimal.
Okay, so let me check with number 1 is number underscore 2. It's true, right? So how it's different? Number 1 and number 2 both are same. I will get to this point later, but I show you from the programming, from the point of computer, how computer thinks numbers. So I'm showing this from that perspective. So these two are same, right? So how it differs? What's the difference? If you don't know, no problem. If anybody don't know, no problem. So we'll proceed with this. So here we have to understand that computer understand in different data types. So whichever variable we put in any variable, I mean whichever data we put in any variable, it will be specifically understood by the Python interpreter which type of data. So now we see what we have put in 20, I mean number 1. So let us see type and number 1, or we can directly give this 120 value. So what type of value is this? It is integer. And what type of value is 120.0? It's float. So what's the difference? Actually, when we compare these two numbers, it compares the value mathematically. It's the mathematical comparison, but it is not the same from the type of data. So if we see like this, type of number 1 type of number 1 is equal to, sorry, type of number 2. If we check this, it will give us false because type is different. These two types are different. Okay. All right. So now we understand what is integer. Integer is the whole number which doesn't have any decimal point after the number. And floating numbers are which have decimal point after the number, right? So this, if we want to print something like this, print, we have two variables, number 1 and number 2, and we have a sentence equal, let's say this is sentence. So we have this variable which is holding string value. So we show we can concatenate between strings. But what happens when we concatenate with the integer or float with the string? So is it possible? Print, let's say, sentence. So we are here we are putting the variable sentence. Is it the correct pronunciation? I don't know. Sentence plus maybe my number, maybe the number 1. Okay, the number underscore 1. So we have two value. We are having sentence, this string, and number 1 we have integer. Is it going to print? No, we can only concatenate string, not integer to string. So this is the problem. So what we can do to fix this? We can convert any type. Say it is the number 1 is integer. We know number 1 contains 120, the value. So if we give this str before the number 1, so this str function or method will convert this number to string. So now we can print. So this is a sentence. Actually, this does not mean anything. So it the total cost. So if we put like something like this, let's say the sentence is maybe the item costs total, then maybe it will make sense. The item costs total 120. Okay, so we concatenate strings with the numbers. We have to change the number to string. So this is how we can change the number, any number, maybe float or any string, string method. So the same thing we can do, like if we have the string, if we have something like, let's say, print. I show you the example. Say I have a string. Now I want to make a float to integer. Maybe I will give the float and I'll pass an integer value, maybe 120 in it. Then I can print it as a float. So it becomes a float. So same, we can actually a Boolean value. Also, we can use this Boolean function to use the true or false. Now, let us see another example of data type. So this is dictionary, and this is really useful stuff to work with AWS. So we told that dictionary is a key value pair. So how we can create, let's say, user equal means this is assignment. So we are assigning within this curly braces, we are putting two data to string value, and inside the string value we are putting something. So it makes a dictionary entry. So user, what user hold now? Print user. We can see it holds this dictionary. Now, let's see. How can we create empty dictionary? So if we just take this example, it will create an empty dictionary, an empty dictionary. So we have another method to do this also. We can just put like this, dict is the abbreviated form of dictionary, and we can do like this. This will also do the same thing. So it will create something which is empty, which doesn't have any value, but this type is dictionary. You can see the type. So you give the account details and it will give you, it is a dict. All right. So what we can do now, let's say how we can read. So we have this user first name, Ada. So how we can read? We can read with the square bracket notation, like print. We are calling this user dictionary, and inside the user dictionary, we are using this square notation to get to the key. So first name is the key. So if we print this, it will just give us the data it holds here, right? We have a first name key, and this key, this data belongs to this data belongs to this key. So when we call this key directly, we get the direct output of the data it holds. So for updating any dictionary, what we can do, let's say we didn't have a family name in our user, right? So we are giving a family name. So user, then we are giving inside a square bracket, we are giving a family name string, and we are assigning Byron to this family name key. So now if we print this, print user, you see, we had previously we had only first name Ada. This was a key and a value. Now we are adding another value and key, which is family name, and there is a value for this key. So now we are printing user, and we see this, right? So how about modifying? So if we do like this, maybe we at present this key family name holding Byron data. Okay, now we are changing it to Lovelace. So what happens to this? The family name dictionary key the name is changed to Lovelace. So delete a key value pair. So how we can delete? Just delete something like this. You just need to call the key to delete this. Now if we print, we just get the first name and Ada. We don't have the family name because we deleted already with this keyword del. All right, so in short, for dictionaries, this is very useful. We will see in the next also. A list is an ordered sequence of values. So let's see something like this. So to define or create a list, we are using a square bracket, and inside the square bracket, we can put any type of data. Actually, it should not, for the dictionary also, it should not contain only the strings. Just for the sake of simplicity, we are just giving only string data inside these examples. So we'll get to see a lot more in the upcoming lessons in the, once we have when we progress throughout this workshop. So this is the list is being created. So we can also, like dictionary, we can also create a list which is empty. We can create like this. So this list does not contain anything, but when we create this one, it will contain. Now we can print this, let's say fruit, and we can see nothing is, I mean, this has nothing but the empty list. So you can also see the type, it is a list. It is a list. So now when we give something to the list like this, it will hold this value. So now you can see the print, it holds these values. All right. So the same way we created our dictionary, we can also create here like fruit equal list. So if we just give this, it will create empty fruit, I mean variable, which will contain the list, which is an empty list. So now it is empty again. All right. So how we can read? So to read the list, we use something called index value. So what is index? Index, we have positive and negative index. So if you see these, let's say we create an again this list. So if you see this list, these are all the objects, this one object, two object, and object three. So I should tell you that we are doing everything in Python. We do everything in Python. We are actually dealing with objects. It can be data or it can be some other things, but it is object. So for this fruit object or variable, we can call it variable. So in this variable, we are putting these things, these objects. So this is a list, and it contains three elements. So how these elements works? It index things like elements 0. Index 0 will hold the first element. Index 1 will hold the second element. Index 2 will hold the third element, and so on. And at the same way, we can use like negative indexes. So let me give you example of what I actually mean from here. So if we see fruit 0, it gives me apples. That means this is the first element. So first element is always index 0.
Uncle, I have a question here.
Sure.
That is, here you have written fruit equals to 0. So I'm telling it equal, but if I give here 1, so if I give 1, will it come oranges?
Sure. It's not equal. I'm giving the index value
Okay,
of
index.
0. So if I give 1, it will give the index value of 1.
Okay, so it should be the first one, and the oranges should be the second one, and the bananas will be the third one. But why here the index value, first index value is 0? So it should be 1, and then it will be apple, right? But
yes, you are right from the sense of how we count. But when computer count, it start indexing from 0, and it has also negative indexes. I can show you another example. Let me show you a pictorial. Just a moment.
okay,
Yeah.
I got it.
Okay, no problem. Just a moment. I'm showing you example. can you show, can you see my screen?
Yes, yes, I can see.
Right. This is one of the, I can say the presentation I did for my first batch, Python Masterclass first batch. So I'm showing from here. All right. So this is how computer index your lists and strings. So for the strings and lists, it start indexing from 0. So if we have something like don't panic, this sentence, it has also space in between, right? We are giving
Yes.
don't panic. So how computer thinks this? Computer put the D on the index 0 position, or if we count it from the negative index, it puts on the negative 12. So you see positive indexes start from 0 and negative indexes start from negative 1. So
Yes.
you go backward and you go forward with 0. Okay. I think it clears your confusion, right?
Yes.
All right. Then from the read, so we are, how we read, we can already, shown already. So let's see some example of negative indexes. So give it the negative index, it pulls you the bananas, right? So this is the last one. So what I have shown you, just I just give you the practical example of this. So now we can see how many elements this fruit list contains. So how we can do this? We can just use the len function. It is also suitable for strings. We'll see later if we have, or actually this is a concise workshop, so we cannot cover every detail of Python basics, but it is good enough to start using AWS with these things you are learning. So we can check the elements of fruit like this. So it has only 3 elements, 1, 2, 3, right? Right. So now, so negative index we already seen. So how about we update? So what happens when we append? Let's say fruit.append. This method will append QE to the end of the list. So if we give this, then it will show you 4 elements because it already added the last one, QE, to our list, and we can see the whole list here, print fruit. We can see all the entries or elements because we just appended with Q. Now, also we can insert. I mean, we can use the insert method like this one. What it does, I will not type because it takes more time, so I'll just use this example. All right, fruit, you see dot insert method. So for dot insert, we are giving first argument as the index number. So can you tell me, in this position, we have these 4 elements, right? So can anybody tell me what is, I mean, inside this fruit list, which element on the index 2 position? Can anybody tell?
Can you repeat it?
All right. From this fruit, we can see this fruit contains apples, orange, bananas, and kiwi. So these 4 elements we have, right? So my question is, on the positive 2 index, which value it holds?
It will be banana.
Bananas, right? All right. So now if we insert something if we insert something in the number 2 position, what happens? Bananas will go one index right, and in the number 2 index position, this passion fruit will be 15. Okay, so now put this. Now we print the list. You see this index position now contains the passion fruit, and bananas was just shifted to the right? So we can append or we can insert. So append actually insert the element to the end of the list, and for the insert you can actually specify where you want to put your element. For organizing a list, so we can see this example. So these elements in the list, you can see this is not sorted, right? Apples, orange, passion fruit, bananas, this is not sorted. So if we use this sorted function, it will give you the list in sort position. It will alphabetically sort the item, but it will not affect the original list. So we can see original list remains the same, right? We just use this sorted method to sort the things inside the list, but we are not actually changing the original list. So if we want to change the list, having some problem with the internet connectivity, maybe. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
now it is perfect.
All right.
Uncle, I have another question. Can I say?
Sure.
Okay,
Yes.
so
ahead.
so we can see many devices that that runs this program in it, like the computers, PCs, and the Windows also run this program. So when these programs are running, it is like
Mhm.
colorful, but here in the terminal it is not colorful. Why? The question is why.
Okay, this is dark, is it? I mean, you see this dark, right?
Only the terminal, not
Only
the screen. In the operating system, I can see blue color, then and it is a picture. It's the type of picture, but here is a lot of texts.
Okay, actually, this is the terminal is built for special purpose. This is built for, I mean, I will give you the answer from two perspectives. First, if you see this, this is like a dark mode. You can change this mode first. I'll show first this one. Let me.
And Uncle, some days ago, I also did a programming course where the teachers taught us about Scratch programming, and it is a language for kids. So there I have seen that I made many things, and those are like I made an operating system and many things.
Mhm.
And those are those are like real operating system. But here, this is a big question that why, where I can see what's going on. Like I am animating something like a small car, and it is going, but I can't see it. Where can I see that?
Actually, what is your question? I mean, in Scratch
My
programming,
question is, we can see many features, like if we click on the start menu in our computer, the start menu shows up, and if I click on the search menu, the search menu shows up. But here I can make it by some texts, but how do that work in the Python?
you mean how you can build an operating system using Python?
No, not a
Is it
full
your
operating
question?
system.
ভাইয়া ও ভিজুয়ালাইজেশনের ব্যাপারে বলতেছে, মানে জাস্ট গুই
Yes.
সিস্টেমের কথা, যেরকম মানে জাস্ট ক্লিক ক্লিক করে এরকম কিছু বোঝাতে যাচ্ছে আর কি।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা,
যে
মানে
এরকম কোনো কিছু,
ক্লিক করে করে মানে তুমি কি এটা জানতে চাচ্ছ যে কিভাবে আসলে
হ্যাঁ
তোমার স্ক্রাচ প্রোগ্রামের মতো ওই যে মডুলার, মানে যে ব্লকের মতো করে করে তুমি কিভাবে
হ্যাঁ
কোড নিয়ে প্র্যাকটিস করতে পারো, এই জিনিসটা পাইথনে, এরকম কিছু জানতে চাচ্ছ?
আমি
পাইথন দিয়ে এটা
আসলে
সম্ভব কিনা,
যেটা
তাই?
যে জিনিসটা জানতে চাচ্ছি সেটা হচ্ছে এই জুমটাই, এই যে যেখানে আমরা ক্লাসটা করছি, এই জুমটাই আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি যে অনেক ফিচার্স আছে, যেমন অনেক কালারের ফিচার্স আছে। আমরা একদম বাম দিকের কর্নারেই দেখতে পারবো একটা গ্রিন কালারই আছে। এখন ওখানে ক্লিক করলে এক ধরনের জিনিস আসে, তাহলে এই জিনিসটা কেমন করে হয়?
This is out of the scope of this course. I mean, today's workshop we will discuss this later. Okay, it is not related to today's workshop. Okay, so let us continue with the things. I just made it light theme so that it does not look different. So what we can do now, we have been talking about the sorted function or method and sort method. So sorted method, it does not change the actual list, but for the sort, it changes the list. So now, if we see something like this, fruit dot sort, and then we just click here and we print fruit, it already sorted, the fruit list already sorted. So what we can do, we can to sort from another direction, from the reverse sort, or what we can alphabetically we can sort from A to Z or Z to A, right? So if we give from sort from Z to A, that means reverse, we can use this fruit dot reverse, then it will be sorted from the different direction. So if we print this, then we are seeing the passion fruit comes in the first location, index location, and then it sorted from the reverse direction. Now, if we want to go back to our original state, so we need to give this reverse again. So it will go to the original state. Okay, original state means sorted state. So this is the things. And if you want to play around, you can play around. Okay, we will, I mean, you have 3 days to play around with this. You have the AWS console access also, so you can play around and let me know in your I mean, any question you can put here. You can see the Learn Python and AWS on the Cloud Camp Bangladesh Slack channel. You join there and you join to this Learn Python on AWS, this channel, then you can start discussing there. Anyone is free to discuss there. Okay, so we'll talk about more things later. Right. So for the delete, how can we delete? We can use the index location like this. So if we delete like the first one, it will delete the bananas because one hold the bananas. So give this and now see the fruit. It does not have the bananas. So so we can use another method which is called the pop method. We can use the pop method to pull the data. So we are here, we are creating another variable called favorite fruit, favorite underscore fruit, and we are popping the last item of the list. So from fruit list, we are popping this last item. So it will hold, favorite fruit will hold only the passion fruit. So let's see what happens. So now if we print the favorite fruit, what it does, we can see directly without print. So it only contains passion fruit. All right. So if we just want to use something like the index location to pull with the pop method, we can do that also. So here you can see Apple QE. So QE is on the location 1. So we will pull this into this one, this variable. So now you see this fresh underscore fruit. So it will hold this QE. All right. Then remove. How can we do the? We have seen the del keyword. We can also use this method to remove a specific element from the list. So if we don't know which location this this element, the list holding this element is held by which index location of the list. If you don't know this information, you can use the remove method and give the element name inside the remove argument. So this will, when you pass, this becomes a parameter. So with this parameter, it will search if there is a banana in the list, bananas. If there is any element, then it will remove. Okay, but it does not have. So what we will do, we just give something like what we have now. We have apples, so we give apples. So we know we have apples, so it removes apples. So this is how it works. All right. So let's see the next. It already 10 o'clock and 5 minutes. So are you guys okay to continue the class? I can do this, no problem. If you are willing to do this.
Yes, uncle, it's okay.
It's okay, right? Everyone okay? Do anybody need any break in between? Because it's 2 hours, 2 hours is a long time. So we can take some breaks. Maybe we can take 10 minutes break.
Yes, that will be better.
We get back here at 10:15. So we'll continue this workshop maybe another few minutes or hours. So I'll just keep as is.
ওয়ার্কশপ শেষ হবে কখন?
Actually, we were planned to finish this workshop within 10. It was a 2 hours long workshop. But since it is taking more time to discuss some of the things since this is some beginners like Wafik, he is a child, so we need to actually uh, take this further, maybe we can do it a few, maybe 30 minutes or 1 hour after this break, after 10 minutes break. If everyone is okay with the timing, then we can do it. Otherwise, we can do another session. It depends on the participants.
It's fine if it takes 1 hour after the break, it's fine.
I don't know if we can finish this. If I go this in this pace, I don't think I can finish. But if I go very fast, it is okay to complete all the things within another 1 hour. So maybe we will come back again at 10:15. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Are everyone back? So it's 10:15. Can anybody confirm that the screen is visible now?
Yes, it's fine.
All right, thank you. I got a question in the chat from Mr. Farooq. Is Mr. Farooq here with us?
Yes, here.
All right, so
I'm
your
here.
question is how to create console environment. That means how you can log into the AWS console, is it?
Yes.
All right, so we did you get the message from Jaman sir about regarding the hash? Did you get an email?
Already I open learn Python on AWS, but how I get this console environment?
Yes, আমি যেটা আপনাকে জিজ্ঞেস করেছি সেটা হচ্ছে আপনি কি জামান স্যারের কাছ থেকে কোনো মেসেজ পেয়েছেন যেখানে একটা হ্যাশ দেয়া আছে, যেমন এই যে এরকমের একটা দেখাচ্ছি।
এটা মেবি এটা কি মেইলে পাঠানো হয়েছে? এটা
না না না, এখানে হচ্ছে আপনার এই চ্যাটের মধ্যে আপনাকে ডিরেক্টলি চ্যাটে সবাইকে দেয়া হয়েছে লিংকগুলো যারা
এটা কি মানে সবার জন্য ইন্ডিভিজুয়াল এটা?
ইন্ডিভিজুয়ালি, হ্যাঁ এটা ইন্ডিভিজুয়ালি দেয়া হয়েছে।
মেবি আমি এটা পাইনি।
আচ্ছা, যদি না পান সেক্ষেত্রে হচ্ছে আপনার ওই আপনি কি আমাদের স্ল্যাক চ্যানেল, যেটা এই স্ল্যাক চ্যানেলে আছেন, এই যে ক্লাউড ক্যাম্প বাংলাদেশ স্ল্যাক চ্যানেল, এখানে আছেন? এখানে যদি থাকেন লার্ন পাইথন অন এডব্লিউএস, এটার মধ্যে গিয়ে আপনি আপনার একটা পোস্ট করেন, সেখানে যেমন স্যার আপনাকে প্রোভাইড করবেন। সো আপনি আপাতত তাহলে দেখতে থাকেন, স্যার এখন এই মুহূর্তে আমাদের সাথে বোধহয় নাই। সো আমরা কন্টিনিউ করি, আপনি মানে 3 দিন সময় পাবেন আর কি। হ্যাঁ, সো 3 দিন আপনি প্র্যাকটিস করতে পারবেন। রাইট, সো আমরা কোথায় ছিলাম? আমরা ছিলাম হচ্ছে যে লিস্ট পর্যন্ত ছিলাম, তাই না? লিস্টটা কমপ্লিট করেছি আমরা। এরপরে আমরা হচ্ছে ডিটারমিনিং টাইপ, আমরা টাইপটা কিভাবে দেখবো আর কি। সো আমরা এবার দেখি যে যেমন হচ্ছে একটা মাই ভেরিয়েবল, এই ভেরিয়েবলের মধ্যে আমরা একটা স্ট্রিং দিলাম। সো আমরা যদি এই মাই ভেরিয়েবলের টাইপটা দেখতে চাই, তো সেক্ষেত্রে এরকম আমাদেরকে প্রিন্ট, তার মধ্যে টাইপ লিখে টাইপের মধ্যে আমাদেরকে এই যে মাই ভেরিয়েবলটা দিতে হবে, তাহলে ওই টাইপটা প্রিন্ট করবে। এটা স্ট্রিং। সরাসরি আমরা আসলে এই টাইপ লিখে যদি সরাসরি আর্গুমেন্টটা পাস করি, দেন আমরা এখানেও দেখতে পারি আর কি একই জিনিস হবে। সো এই যে ক্লাস স্ট্রিং মানে এসটিআর, এই এসটিআরটা হচ্ছে অ্যাব্রিভিয়েটেড ফর্ম অফ স্ট্রিং। সো আমরা কি কি জিনিস অ্যাব্রিভিয়েটেড ফর্ম পাই, যেমন হচ্ছে আমরা যদি টাইপ যেমন 100, এটা ইন্টিজার, এটা যদি দেই তাহলে ইন্টিজারের অ্যাব্রিভিয়েটেড ফর্ম ইন্ট, এটা পাবো। তো আমরা যদি টাইপ 100.99 এটা দেই, তাহলে এটা হবে ফ্লোট, এটা ফ্লোটিং পয়েন্ট নাম্বারস, এই জন্য এটাকে ফ্লোট হিসেবে দেখাবে। সো একইভাবে লিস্ট, টাপল, যে কোনো কিছুই আমরা আসলে টাইপের মধ্যে দিতে পারি। যেমন হচ্ছে এই একটা আমরা যদি একটা লিস্ট দেই, লেটস সে 1 2 3, সো এটা একটা লিস্ট। আমরা যদি টাপল হিসেবে দেখতে চাই, দেন এই স্কোয়ার ব্র্যাকেটের পরিবর্তে আমাদেরকে প্যারেনথেসিস ইউজ করতে হবে, এবং প্যারেনথেসিসের মধ্যে আমরা ওই যে আমাদের এলিমেন্ট গুলো দিয়ে দিব। তাহলে এইটা হবে হচ্ছে টাপল। আর ডিকশনারি হচ্ছে আমাদেরকে যেটা করতে হবে, আমাদের ডিকশনারি করার জন্য কার্লি ব্রেস ইউজ করতে হবে। হ্যাঁ, সো এই কার্লি ব্রেসের মধ্যে আমরা যদি কোনো কিছু দেই, সেটা হবে এটা হচ্ছে সেট। আর ডিকশনারি হচ্ছে কি ভ্যালু পেয়ার। সেট আর এর মধ্যে ডিফারেন্স হইছে কি ভ্যালু পেয়ার। এখানে আমরা 1 এটার আগে যদি একটা কি দেই, যেমন হচ্ছে নাম, যেমন হচ্ছে লেটস সে স্ট্রিং দিলাম একটা নাম, নাম 1, এরপর এটার পর একটা ক্লোন দিলাম 1, এভাবে নাম 2, মানে আমি একটা দিয়ে দেখাই যাতে বেশি টাইপ করা না লাগে আর কি, যে নাম 1 ইকুয়াল টু 1 এটা দিলাম, এটা একটা, এইটা তখন হবে একটা ডিকশনারি ডিক্ট। সো ডিকশনারির শর্ট ফর্ম হচ্ছে ডিক্ট, সেট সেটই আছে, টাপল টাপলই আছে, লিস্ট লিস্টই আছে, ঠিক আছে। ফ্লোট ফ্লোট, ইন্টিজার ইন্টিজার, স্ট্রিং, এসটিআর। ওকে, সো এইভাবে আমরা আসলে আমাদের ভেরিয়েবলে কি ডেটা হোল্ড করে সেটা আমরা চেক করতে পারি। আচ্ছা, তো এখানে আমরা যেটা এর আগে একবার দেখেছিলাম যে আমরা এই যে স্ট্রিং এর সাথে নাম্বার কনক্যাটিনেট করতে যখন যাই তখন একটা টাইপ এরর দেখায়। সো আমরা সেটাও দেখেছি অলরেডি যে আমরা স্ট্রিং এ কনভার্ট করে সেটাকে একটা ইন্টিজারকে আমরা স্ট্রিং এ কনভার্ট করে সেটা আমরা কনক্যাটিনেট করতে পারি। যেমন এই এক্সাম্পলটা আবার দেখি আমরা, এটা আরো ক্লিয়ার হবে। যেমন মাই নাম্বার ইকুয়াল টু 50, মাই নাম্বার ভেরিয়েবলের মধ্যে 50 আছে, সাম স্ট্রিং এর মধ্যে আমরা একটা স্ট্রিং দিলাম। এখন আমরা যদি এই প্রিন্ট করতে চাই দুইটা একসাথে, এটাকে বলে কনক্যাটিনেশন। এটা যদি করতে চাই এখানে টাইপ এরর দেখাচ্ছে, বাট আমরা যেটা করতে পারি সেটা হচ্ছে আমরা এটাকে স্ট্রিং এ কনভার্ট করে মাই নাম্বারকে আমরা স্ট্রিং এ কনভার্ট করে নিতে পারি। সো str ফাংশন ইউজ করব বা মেথড ইউজ করব, তারপর হচ্ছে আমরা যদি দেই তাহলে দ্য নাম্বার ইজ 50, এখানে আমাদের আর কোনো এরর দেখাবে না। আচ্ছা, তো এখানে হচ্ছে এই যে আমরা স্ট্রিং এ কনভার্ট করে নিলাম। ওকে, দেন ফাংশন। সো ফাংশন হচ্ছে আমরা কোনো কিছু পারফর্ম করার জন্য একটা নেমড সেকশন ব্যবহার করি, এটাকে ফাংশন বলে, যেটা কোড রিউজেবিলিটির জন্য বা রিপিটিশন কমানোর জন্য আর কি, রিপিট না করা লাগে এসব ক্ষেত্রে আসলে ফাংশনের খুবই ব্যবহার আছে। আমরা প্র্যাকটিক্যাল এক্সাম্পল দেখি। সো আমরা ফাংশন কিভাবে ডিফাইন করতে পারি। হ্যাঁ, তো আমরা ফার্স্ট, এবার আমরা এতক্ষণ যে কাজ করছি সব করছি আমরা কিসে, আমরা ইন্টারঅ্যাক্টিভ শেলের মধ্যে কাজ করছি। এবার আমরা ফাইলের মধ্যে কাজ করব। সো আমরা একটা নতুন ফাইল নিব, ফাইলটার নাম দিব পাইথন, এই পাইথন ল্যাব 1 হ্যালো ওয়ার্ল্ড। হ্যাঁ, সো আমরা কিভাবে নিতে পারি এটা, আমরা এই যে সরাসরি লার্ন পাইথন অন AWS এর মধ্যে আছি, এখানে আমরা রাইট ক্লিক করি, অথবা আমরা এখানে ফাইল থেকে নিউ করতে পারি, নিউ ফাইল। সো নিউ ফাইল করে আমরা এই ফাইলটার যদি একটা নাম দেই, এটাকে সেভ করি, সেভ, এবং সেভ কোথায় করব, আমরা এই যে সরাসরি লার্ন পাইথন অন AWS এর মধ্যে আমরা এই নামটা দিব, পাইথন ল্যাব, সরি পাইথনটা আসবে না এখানে, ল্যাব 1 এইটা নাম আমাদের, এই নামে একটা ফাইল সেভ করি, lab_1_hello_world.py। এটা আমরা এই সরাসরি এই ডিরেক্টরির মধ্যে, যে ডিরেক্টরির মধ্যে আছি এখানে আমরা সেভ করি। তো আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি আমাদের একটা পাইথনের ফাইল ক্রিয়েট হয়েছে, তাই না, এখানে। আচ্ছা, এখন এই ফাইলের মধ্যে আমরা যদি এই কোডটা নেই, আমরা এবার সেভ করি, Ctrl+S দিলে সেভ হয়, অথবা আমরা এখান থেকে ফাইল দিয়ে সেভ করতে পারি। সো আচ্ছা, আমরা এবার দেখি আমরা এখানে এই ফাংশনের মধ্যে আমরা কি করতেছি। এই যে প্রথম যে লাইনটা দেখাচ্ছে, এই লাইনটা হ্যাশ দিয়ে শুরু। তো হ্যাশ দিয়ে কোনো কিছু যদি শুরু হয়, ইন্টারপ্রেটার এটাকে কমেন্ট হিসেবে নেয়। হ্যাঁ, এটাকে সে কোড হিসেবে দেখে না। সো এটা যে জায়গায় থাক, আপনি যদি এই হ্যাশটা এখানে দিয়েও কোনো কিছু লেখেন, কোনো একটা লাইনের পরে কোনো কিছু লেখেন, সে আসলে ওইটাকে কমেন্ট হিসেবেই দেখবে। এটা হচ্ছে পাইথনের কমেন্ট। পাইথনের কমেন্ট আরো একভাবে লেখা যায়, যেটা হচ্ছে এই যে ট্রিপল কোট। এই ট্রিপল কোট দিয়ে আপনার মাল্টি লাইন কমেন্ট, এটা হচ্ছে সিঙ্গেল লাইন কমেন্ট হ্যাশ দিয়ে। মাল্টি লাইন কমেন্টের মধ্যে যেমন দিস ইজ এ মাল্টি লাইন কমেন্ট, এটা সাধারণত ডক স্ট্রিং এ বেশি ব্যবহার করা হয়। যেমন ডক স্ট্রিংটা কিভাবে আমরা এই যে ফাংশনের মধ্যে আমরা যদি কোনো কিছু দেই, লেটস সে আমরা এইখানেই দেই, এটাকে ডক স্ট্রিং বলে, যে ফাংশনের ডেফিনিশন আর কি। সো আমরা এই ফাংশনটা কি কাজ করে let's say আমরা এই this function will print hello world, এটা যদি দেই এবং এটা যদি ডিফারেন্ট অনেকগুলো লাইনেও যদি দেই, আমরা যখনই এটাকে আমাদের মানে ট্রিপল কোট শেষ করব, ওই পাইথন মানে ওই কমেন্টটা শেষ হবে বা ডগ স্ট্রিং শেষ হবে। সো এটা ট্রিপল সিঙ্গেল কোটও হইতে পারে, আবার ট্রিপল ডাবল কোট দিয়ে হইতে পারে। এই ট্রিপল ডাবল কোট আর এখানেও ট্রিপল ডাবল কোট। সো এভাবে আপনি চাইলে একাধিক লাইন আপনি মানে কমেন্ট যোগ করতে পারেন আর কি। সো ওকে, সো এটা হচ্ছে এটা বোধহয় ফাংশনের এই জায়গাটায় print hello world. Okay, let me check. Okay, now it's okay. It's fine. So we'll maybe এটা আমরা স্পেস দিয়ে গেলাম। হ্যাঁ, এটা এখানে একটা স্পেস দিলেও আবার সমস্যা আছে, এখানে আসলে একটা ইনডেন্টেশনের ব্যাপার আছে। তো আমরা এটা এই জায়গাটা আমরা একটু দেখি যে আমরা আসলে একটা ফাংশন কিভাবে ডিফাইন করি। ফাংশন ডিফাইন করার জন্য আমরা প্রথমে যেটা দেই সেটা হচ্ছে ডেফ। এই ডেফটা হচ্ছে কিওয়ার্ড। এই স্ক্রিনটা একটু বড় করে নেই, এবার মনে হয় ভিজিবল, তাই না? ওকে,
দেখা যাচ্ছে।
সো আমরা এখানে আপনার ডেফ কিওয়ার্ড দিয়ে শুরু করব কোনো ফাংশন লেখার জন্য, এবং ফাংশনের নাম, এই ফাংশনের নাম যেটা আমরা যদি এখান থেকে প্রথম থেকে দেখি এখানে কি কি জিনিস আছে। একটা জিনিস আমরা অমিট করে গেছি, আমি একটু সেই জিনিসটা দেখিয়ে আসি আপনাদের। কোনো একটা জায়গায় এই যে এটা এই জিনিসটা একটু দেখাই আপনাদেরকে। এটা হচ্ছে যে আমরা পাইথনের কিছু স্পেসিফিক স্টাইল গাইড আছে। আমরা যখন পাইথনে কোড লিখবো তখন এই স্টাইল গাইড গুলো ফলো করবো। যেমন আমরা ফাংশন এবং ভেরিয়েবলের নাম কিভাবে লিখবো তার জন্য একটা ডিরেকশন আছে পাইথন। এটা পাইথন স্টাইল গাইড, আমি উপরে দেখাবো। আগে এটা দেখেন, ফাংশন নেম শুড বি লোয়ার কেস with words separated by underscores as necessary to improve readability. Variable names follow the same convention as function names. So mixed case is allowed only in context where that's already the prevailing style, যেমন threading.py to retain backwards compatibility. So backward compatibility নিয়ে আমাদের ভাবতে হবে না, আমরা Python 3 দিয়ে কাজ করতেছি। সো আমরা আসলে এই জিনিসগুলো নিয়ে দেখবো আর কি, যে আমরা পাইথনের স্টাইল গাইডটা আমরা ফলো করতেছি কিনা। এটা হচ্ছে পাইথনের স্টাইল গাইড ফর পাইথন কোড। হ্যাঁ, সো জাস্ট এই জিনিসটা একটু দেখানোর জন্য আমি এখানে নিয়ে আসছি আপনাদেরকে। এবার ফাংশনের জায়গায় চলে যাই। তো ফাংশনে আমরা যেটা করছি, প্রথমে যেটা লিখলাম সেটা হচ্ছে, মানে প্রথমে যে কোডটা ছিল আমি আপনাদের এই কোড অনুযায়ী দেখাই। এটা ডগ স্ট্রিং না দিলেও চলবে, কোনো অসুবিধা নেই। সো ফার্স্ট যে জিনিসটা সেটা হচ্ছে আমাদের এই যে কমেন্ট, এটাও যে নেসেসারি বিষয়টা এই না, তবে আপনি পাইথন স্টাইল গাইড ফলো করলে অবশ্যই এখানে আপনার প্রোগ্রাম কি করতেছে সেটা একটা ডেসক্রিপশন এখানে থাকে। সো আমরা যেহেতু শিখতেছি, আমাদের এত কিছু এই মুহূর্তে না করলেও হবে। আমরা একটা ফাংশন কিভাবে ডিফাইন করি সেটা হচ্ছে ডেফ কিওয়ার্ড, দেন হচ্ছে ফাংশনের নাম, এবং নামটার জন্য যে একটু আগে যেটা দেখালাম যে আপনার স্টাইল গাইড। স্টাইল গাইড অনুযায়ী আমাদেরকে অবশ্যই এই যে লোয়ার কেস লেটার এবং মাঝখানে ওয়ার্ড গুলো সেপারেট করার জন্য আন্ডারস্কোর। তো এটার পরে আমাদেরকে দিতে হবে প্যারেনথেসিস। এই প্যারেনথেসিসের মধ্যে আমরা আর্গুমেন্ট দিতে পারি, অপশনাল, বাট আর্গুমেন্টটা নেসেসারি না। আর এরপরে হচ্ছে কোলন। এই পর্যন্ত হচ্ছে ফাংশন ডেফিনিশন। তারপরে নেক্সট লাইনে অবশ্যই আমাদেরকে একটা ইনডেন্টেশন দিতে হবে। এই যে ইনডেন্টেশনটা, এটা আপনার দেখেন, আপনি যদি যখন লিখতে যাবেন তখন আপনি যদি এটা এন্টার দেন অটোমেটিকলি ইনডেন্ট হয় যদি কোনো আইডি থাকে। এটা যেমন একটা আইডি, Cloud9 যেমন একটা আইডি, তেমন আপনি যদি এই ওয়ার্কশপটা আপনি নিজের লোকাল মেশিনে করেন, লোকাল মেশিনে করলে, ও সরি, আই এম টকিং ইন বাংলা, রাইট? সো লেট আস get going with English again, because there are some people from who are not Bangladeshi. So how can we define the function? So function, when we define a function, we use the def keyword, and after def keyword give space, but this white space does not matter to Python. That means how many space you are giving, it does not matter, but you have to be consistent what the way you write your code. So after a space, we are giving a name for the function. This is a hello world function, so we are giving the name as hello world. After then we give a parenthesis. After parenthesis, we are giving a colon. So after colon, we are going next line, and we give a tab spacing. This is 4 space or a tab spacing. So normally we will practice with the tab, otherwise Python is very strict for the indentation. This is called indent. So whatever comes after this function colon, it has to be properly indented, otherwise Python interpreter will not understand it. So we are giving a tab spacing, then we are giving a print method. So we can give anything here. It depends on how we write the function and what purpose we are writing this function. So this is the declaration part of the function. And you see this line, actually, when we use this line, that means this function is going to be called. Whenever we write the function name and the parentheses, then it will invoke the function. Otherwise, we run this code, we will not, it will not do anything. So I will just show you what I mean. So give it a comment so that Python interpreter will think it is a comment. So we get out of the interactive shell by Control D. Now we are on the virtual environment. We have created the virtual environment, right? So now let's see, we created a function and how we can run this function. So to run from the command line, you need to give the Python keyword and then the file name. So file name, what is the file name? So this is the file name, lab1. You can just type lab, then tab. So it will fill your file name. It will search for the file name which starts from the lab. Then it will fill it itself. So what we need to do here, we just give the name of the keyword Python, then it is calling the Python interpreter, and then we are giving the as an argument, we are passing the file name. So this is a Python file. So if we run this file, nothing happens actually. It did not create anything, or it did not show anything, but it is completely a Python function. So when we uncomment this line, this is called function invocation or function call. So I save this with the Control S, and then I run the same file again. So it show hello world. So what it does, after interpreter comes to this line, it goes back to this def, then it sees what code you have inside this suit. In Python, we call this suit. It is not block. Actually, it is used interchangeably, the block and the suit. So in standard Python, we call it suit. So when we invoke the function, it executes the suit inside the function. Now, returning information from a function. So we are giving directly the print statement here, but Python, in Python, every function can return something. So we can use the return statement here. So we change this code. We copy this code and paste this code again, and we save this. Now, what it does, we run the code again, and it is showing the same thing, but in different way. So in this code, what it does, this hello world function will return a value of hello world. And we are declaring a variable here, greeting, and inside the variable, we are calling the function hello world. So when this hello world function calls happens, after this call happens, this greeting variable will get the return value from the function. So this return value is hello world. And after then, we are printing the greeting variable. So once the function call happens, greeting get the value from the return, then we are printing the value with the print statement. Okay. So this is what happens here. Now, when we read this, you will understand more. So you have lot of time.
Uncle, I did not understand the return one.
Okay, return is keyword like the def. Python has some built-in keyword. So in a function, return do what return does. Return will give some value to the function. So when we call this function, and whatever value we return with the function, this will return. That means we are not going to always, do it, what I can say, that not every time we human being are calling a function. There are machines that will call functions, and we will see in the later chapters also that this return will return some value out of this function, and this value, what it returns, we are getting by executing the function or by calling the function or by invoking the function, whatever way you call it. Once we invoke or once we call the function, if we return something with the return statement, this is optional, as I said earlier, because in my previous example, I did not use the return keyword, right? So function can be declared or function can be built or constructed without return statement. It is optional, but for the sake of return, what we are doing here, return is giving any kind of value. We are giving here a string, but we could give something else. We could give another thing, like we could give another function call in the return or another value or anything. We will see in the later chapters also. So that return, when we call this function, that return happens, then we get the return by calling the function. Here what we did, we created a variable. This variable hold the return value of the function after calling this function. Okay. Now, is it clear?
Yes, it's clear. Thank you.
We'll see more details in later lessons. Okay. All right. So now it's the time to work with the Boto 3. Boto 3 is the SDK or software development kit for Python. You can tell it as a Python library for AWS. So what we are doing here, we are taking this. Okay, let me see if we need to create any. Okay. So actually for this Boto 3, if you want to understand, you have to read all these. Otherwise, I cannot actually make you understand all the things only talking to it, because you have to read some of the things here. So I'll try to give you some detail here also. So let us copy this code and paste the code into another file. All right, we created a file untitled, we didn't save it. So if we just go through this, first look at the Boto 3 documentation for Amazon Translate. So in this lab, we are going to use yes.
Uncle, why did you give a parenthesis in the 8th line?
Here.
Yes.
Okay, later we will discuss later. Okay. All right. So let me see. You don't need to look at this code yet. So now what this workshop tells you, you just need to go through this. So what we are going to do here, we are using Amazon Translate to translate some text from English to French. So what is Amazon Translate? Let us see in the console and give you some some glimpse of the service, Amazon Translate. So this is the Amazon Translate service. So we are going to use this service with our Python code, right? So we will learn how to do it. So this is Amazon Translate, natural and fluent translation. So what it does, Amazon Translate provides fast, affordable, and quality translations for your multilingual needs. So this is the service. We will use this service with our code. Okay, now go to this documentation. This is the Boto 3 docs or documentation for Translate, available service under Translate. So we need to look at this Translate service and how we can actually programmatically use this Translate service in our code. So this is some of the things. This is the client, and these are available methods. These methods we got from this service. So it is actually all things in AWS are based on APIs or application programming interface. So we are actually using this service with the Boto 3, which is a SDK. And in the section marked client, it tells us how to translate service in our program, right? So it is client. So how to translate, we can get some of the translate text like this. So what are this method doing, right? So we need to, this is a pretty advanced level for you, I think, for WAFI, because you need to get around these concepts first before you can understand a little bit further, but we'll try to understand this. All right. So in the translate text method, the documentation starts with translate text and keyword args. This is the arguments. and you see the double star. This is special arguments. And then further down has a section with the title request syntax. What it says here, request syntax, right? So this is translate text, and double star KW args means keyword arguments. And this is the request syntax, how we can request the API. So this is how we are going to learn this text. So this is not the actually final, this is not the code we are writing. So I just made a file and just pasted it just to show you. Okay. So now how we can do this? We just create this lab2 file. So this untitled, we just save this as lab2 intro to Boto3 and save it. All right. So we now have lab2 file. Inside this file, there is nothing. So we copy the code from here. Okay. Now let's try to understand something. First, we are importing Boto3. So Boto3, as I said earlier, Boto3 is a SDK or Python library. So we need to import it. So is it already in the environment? Let's run this first. Let's try to find this if we have this in our environment. So if it does not have, it will give you that it does not recognize, or we can actually, we can see from the pip fridge. We did not do anything right here. I mean, pip is a Python package manager. So we need to install the Boto3. So how we can do this? To use this in our virtual environment, we need to install this with the pip. So what we need to do, pip install and then Boto3. We can specifically mention the version, but for now we are not doing it. So what it does, it will install the Boto3 library inside your environment variable, which we have created earlier in the workshop. So now you see there is a warning. You don't need to worry about this. This warning tells you that pip version is 20.11, but 21.3.1 is available. So if you want to update, you can do so by this command. Actually, you need to give the command before Python, then this command and upgrade pip. So it will upgrade. So later it will not give you any warning. All right. So now we have now we can see in the pip fridge again. So now we see pip fridge give us some of the libraries. So this Boto3 installed with these additional libraries like Botocore, JMES path, Python dateutil, and S3 transfer 6, URL lib3. These libraries got installed into our environment, and this is the version number. So now we look at the code again. So to use the import, we did not import anything except before this. I mean, the example we have seen so far in the Python interactive shell or in the IDE, we did not use anything other than which already installed for us in the Python standard library. So when we gave the pip freeze earlier, it did not come with any, I mean, it did not give us any output like here. When we back here. Okay, that is suppressed, so we cannot see anymore. So when earlier when we give pip phrase, it did not give us any output like this one, right? I mean, like these libraries. So when we installed in this my VNV virtual environment, when we install the pip install then Boto 3, then we have these tools available to our environment. So now we can actually do this import. So what import does? Import will reference the code to your libraries if you have it. Like Boto 3 we have already, so it will bring the library into our code, but it will not bring everything. So we can import in many ways. Like we can import inside Boto 3, we have many things. Like if we see this my VNV, and if we see this lib, we have many things right here. So in Boto core, Boto 3, we have many things. So there are many methods, functions, everything. So we can actually import whatever necessary for us. So now for import, we just import here Boto 3, and then we are defining a variable called client, and we are giving the client the Boto3.client. This is the client method, what we have shown here, right? This is the client. When we actually seen this client, this is the client. This is the client for translate, and we are passing this value. Translate means we are actually working with the translate client, translate API client. So now we are declaring this client variable, and we are passing this translate services client into this client. Okay, so now you see this function. So this is a function we started from def keyword, and then translate text is our function name, and then we give the same as before, as we did earlier in the function. So now what we are doing, we just declared the function here, and we are getting response. So response, we are giving a response variable here, and we are giving the response variable client.translate text method. So in the translate text method, what we get here, you see here, this is the request syntax. So here are something like text, terminology names, source language, target language, settings, etc. Right? So in this code, we are getting rid of some of the things which is not required, like terminology names. This is not required. You see the text, it is required. And you see source language code, it is required. And you see the language, target language code, it is required. So we are only keeping the required portion of our API call. So we are just giving text. We define a text variable, and in the text, we are giving, we did not give any keyword arguments here, so, or any argument in the function. So we are just keeping it simple at the beginning. So what we are doing, we just giving the response, the translate text method. So we already have the client, right? This is the Boto3 client, which calls the translate API. So we are calling the translate API, and with the notation, we are going to the translate text, this method. So within this method, we are giving some arguments. So this is the text, and we are giving this argument in the text. I'm learning to code in AWS. This is a text, is string. Source language, this is the short form of the language English, EN. This is defined in the translate API. So we'll see it later. So target language code, it is French. So we just put this keyword FR, the short form, second two letters of the language. Okay. So now, if we save this, and if we run this from our terminal, if we run this, what happens? Did it give you anything? It did not give you anything, right? Because we just declared the function. We did not call the function. Okay. So now what it happens, we if we add these lines, let's say these two lines, let me click all, copy all the code and paste it here, just for your better understanding. This is the same thing. What we are doing here, we are giving a print statement which print the response. So this is the response. So we are printing it, and now this is under the function. This is under the function suite. So this print is under function suite. This is indented, right? So this is also part of the function. Now we are calling this with these function calls. This is the call for this function. So now if we save this and if we run this again, we see many things actually. We see translated text, this source language, target language, response metadata, many things we are seeing, right? So now let us go further with this. Now, what about the main function? Actually, the main function is in this section, the main function is introduced. So the main function sets the entry point for a Python program. So in every program, in every Python program you write, there should have a main function where the execution will begin. So if there is no main function, Python will already do it for you in the background. It will set this, it will define a special variable called main and assign the value of main to the code. So it becomes like this. Okay. So now what we can do, we can see this example. Now we check with the if statement, but if we are not going to discuss about the if, because we will do it in next section. Now see this code. So we have this translate text function which we have created earlier, and now we are giving another function. We are creating another function which is main function, and under the main function we are calling this translate text function. So after then we are checking if name equal to main. If this file contains the main function, then it will call. If the variable, if special variable is set to main, then it will call the main function. So how this works, we just save this and we just run it again. It will give the same thing, but you understand the main function concept. So here what we do now, if we will talk about the if later, but now you see this as it is checking a condition that if the name variable is main, then we will go for the main function call. So under the main function, we will go for the translate text function. So this function will be called from the main. So this is the architecture here. I mean, this is the underlying mechanism here. So we just go to the next. So this is This section actually a bit later, but it should have been earlier in this workshop, because we without installing Boto 3 we cannot do anything, right? But most probably we could do with the environment. I mean, if we deactivate the environment, so the virtual environment. Now you just type the deactivate. So let's see, is there anything in the peak? So now if we see the peak, yeah, it has some of the things already. That's why it showed you like if we have Boto 3 here, Boto core, we have Boto core. So that's why it did not give you the, I mean, before this exercise, we did not have this. But inside the virtual environment, what we have done in this section, how we activated this here, right? So if we just activate this virtual environment, which what we have created earlier, and then if we go to this function here, the main function, and whatever function we have done with the Boto 3, it did not it should not work without this package. So we installed this earlier. All right. So now let's see. So this is the same thing what we have done earlier, that we needed to upgrade the pip or Python package manager. All right. So pip freeze, we got this, right? Okay. Now there is one thing. So you now have this. We go to this pip freeze again, and let us clear some this screen first and see things. So if we give this pip freeze again in this virtual environment, you see for you to work with this program or use script you have written, you have to be dependent on these libraries. So as we have said that this is a container-like environment inside Python, this virtual environment. So how you can ship your code to other machine where you can run this code without needing to do all the things manually. So that's why we need to create the requirements.txt file. So how we can do this? We can do this by creating a requirement.txt file here manually, or we can do just we give this command pip freeze and pipe this means redirect to requirements.txt. So requirements.txt. So if we do this, you can see there is a file named requirements.txt, and this file contains all the output from the pip freeze, right? Okay, so this is essential. Whenever you ship your code, maybe you ship this code, and the person who will work with this code need to install this requirements file first. So how that person install? That person will need to do this pip, then I mean install, or I minus I you can use, then minus R, then minus or hyphen R, then you need to show the requirements file, requirements dot, you need to give the argument. So you'll see this requirements already satisfied. So nothing, its requirements already satisfied. That's why it did not install anything. But if you want to try it out with a new machine that does not have, or new environment, maybe we can create environment from here like this. I show you this. Let's say I create an environment from this command, and and this environment I call this my VNV or my ENV, my env, not gnv. Okay, so this will be another environment. So you see there is another environment. This is my gnv and this is my env. So if you go if you activate this environment, so how you activate? You activate with the source, right? So you have to keep the directory structure. So source, then you go with the my underscore env. Oh, let us get out of the environment first. So deactivate the environment. So now we are no longer in the virtual environment. So we need to give this command source and then directory structure, which is my underscore env, then slash bin, then slash activate. So if you activate my env, you don't see this, right? You don't anything freeze. If when you issue this command freeze, you don't see any output. So in this environment, if you want to test this code, so what you need to do? You need to install the requirement. That means the dependency. So how you can do it? So this is the package, and you see this. How you can do it? This pip install, then -r, then requirements.txt. So you give this command, it will install all the dependencies for you. After then, you can run this command. I mean this code here, your Python script here, it will work. So if you run this inside this my env, the new environment, if you run this Python script lab2, let's say lab2, it will work. Okay, so it will work as expected. So it is 11:07, so we are almost 1 hour. I think this will take more time, but I'm okay to continue if you want to. I mean, all the participants, if you want to be with me, I can show you the other things. Otherwise, you can do it yourself, and you go through all the. This is a self-explanatory things. This is a self-paced material. You can grab the concepts very easily if you read it and if you practice along with it. So it will be
You can
easy.
continue.
So what about others? Oh, okay. There are some hand raised. Anyone? Jahid Chittagong, Kamrun Nahar, and someone else. You want to ask anything? Please feel free. You can unraise your hand. You can lower your hand, and then you can speak freely. No problem. So, Lokesh, you are asking about the Slack URL. I posted it earlier, but I will post it again. So this is some of the links you can find. So these are all the links. So you need to join to the Cloud Camp Slack channel. Then you will find this one, Learn Python on AWS. So once you join this Cloud Camp Bangladesh Slack, then you will you will have this, you will get this, and you just feel free to join anybody. Okay, so we are 10 participants including me. So what about others? Wafik is going to stay. So what about others?
Yes.
হ্যাঁ, আধা ঘন্টা বা 1 ঘন্টা একটা ওভারঅল দিয়ে দিতে পারেন আপনি শর্ট টাইমের
So
মধ্যে।
I go very fast. Yeah, I just go with the concepts very fast. Okay.
হ্যাঁ,
All right.
কনসেপ্টটা
All right. So you just I mean I will not discuss many things. I'll just execute the code. Okay. Otherwise, if I go into the detail to the concept, it will take time. Actually.
Yes.
All right. So let's see some of the things, arguments and parameters, right? So we create this file and we save it with the name of the lab 4. So what was the lab 3? We missed the lab 3 maybe. Let me see the lab 3 first. Where is the lab 3? Oh, this is the lab 3. So actually I did lab 2 twice. Inside the lab 2, I just made the lab 3. Okay, no problem. So you can do it according to the instruction, no problem. So we go to the lab 4 now. Lab 4. All right. Now this is untitled file. We are just we can actually get this untitled from here also, new file, and also we can save like this, lab 4. So now copy this code. Now you see there is no argument here. For this, there are this method, there are some arguments: text, source language, target language. So now copy this and paste into this file again. Now we see this function, we are giving some arguments. This is called positional arguments. So we are giving text, source language, and target language. This positional argument, when we pass parameters for this argument, it has to maintain the what it calls the position. That means when we give this the data for this argument, parameter for this argument. So first one definitely will be text, and second one will be the source language, and third will be the target language. This is in short for the positional argument, but we can do it and this we remove some hard-coded value here. So if we just save this file and we go with the new environment, no problem. So we go with this myenv. So so Python and lab 4. We run this, we get exactly same thing, but what we did here, we hard-coded these things here. All right, we gave the argument inside the function, but in this state we are not hard-coding this. We are getting the text from this text parameter, which is an argument in this translate text. So we are giving this parameter, this argument value, that means parameter, using this main function translate text and we are giving this positional argument. So what I have told you earlier, that this text, source language and target language, it has to maintain the what it calls in Bengali we can Chrome. So what in English? The sequence, right? So it will maintain the sequence. That means we declared these positional arguments. The first one is text, and we maintain here. Otherwise, it not work. All right. So let us see some more advanced things. Keyword arguments. So what is keyword arguments? So now lab 4 step 2. So lab 4 step 1. Now we create a new file. We name this as lab 4 step 2. So this will be lab 4 step 2. And now we copy this. And now see what it happens. This is the same code as earlier. Unexpected indent. So this is like client def translate. Oh, text. Okay. Fixed itself. All right, no problem here. So here we are giving the argument the same as the previous text, right? So what we can do here, we can use this is the same as this one. So this is the previous code. So what we can do using keyword arguments. This is the modification. So if we give this in step 2, then what it happens? We are not using the positional argument. We are using keyword arguments here, and any number of arguments we can pass with this keyword argument. And we are getting in the translate text also, we are getting the keyword arguments. So in the main function, what we are giving? We are giving this text, source language, and target language. So it automatically converted to the translate text. I mean, it automatically grabbed by the translate text function without maintaining the sequence. So this is one of the benefit for the keyword arguments. So these two works almost the same. Let me check to see. Let us see step 2. Step 2. Oh, sorry, 3. Step 2. So you see, this is the same, but we just what we did not use positional argument here. We used the keyword argument instead of positional argument. So if you read along all the lines here, you will understand very clearly. All right. So now we can use also the dictionary as a keyword argument. So how we can do it? This is the dictionary example of keyword argument. So is this made to any new file? No. So we can follow along with this. So if we just paste here in the step 2, and we see here, we are defining the keyword arguments, and we are giving the dictionary for this. All right. So we just in the main function, we just call the function translate text with the keyword args, and all other things are same. So we just defining the keyword args. We are getting the keyword args, KW args as a variable and giving a dictionary into it. So this is one of the one other way to implement this. So we can run the same file again, we get the same output. All right. So let's say inputs. Now we create another file. Let's say, okay, we just close these files. We create another file, save it, name it lab5, step 1, copy the code here, and try to understand this, okay? So this is the same as we have seen before. So what happens if we just don't give the keyword arguments as a dictionary, but instead we just give some, we just take some input from the user. So how can we get the input? So we copy this to this code, and we see this. We are giving an input function. This function will direct the user when the program pointer comes to here in this input function. It will give your command prompt a prompt to enter your input. It will print this out, and it will ask you for typing your input. So for the text, we are asking user to give their input. For source language, we are also asking user to give their input, and for the target language, we are also using the same. All right, so let us see how it works. All right, so Python, then lab 5, it is giving you the prompt. So provide the text you want to translate. So if I want to translate something like, I am trying to learn Python. Let's say I'm giving this, and provide the 2-letter source language code. So what are the available source language code? We can see from here. We can see like, let's say language. Okay, let's see, translate. All right, what we know already, we can use that. Okay, later we will get this. All right, we know the source language. So I am giving this text as English, right? So source is EN. So we are just giving the 2-letter for English. And now if we want to, and the programming is asking, or script is asking to give us the target language. So we already seen the, which one? We seen the French, right? FR. So we see the same thing, French. So what it does, it translated my input to the source language, to the target language, French. So if the language code, so let me see the language code, language where I can see the language code, other. So this is the translate. Check. Translate language. You go to the developer guide. Supported language and codes. This is the codes. So if I wanted to give something else, let me run this program again and provide a text. Maybe I give something like, everyone feels tired by now. So I give this text as I want to translate this text and provide the two-letter source language. So source is English, since I provided in English. So this is the EN, and I can now choose any of the language. Let's say I choose Bengali, BN. So I choose BN. What happens? You see, সবাই এখন ক্লান্ত বোধ করে. Did you see it? So this is how we are actually using these things. All right. So this is the user input. And what about the CLI arguments? So if we want to give the argument not from the prompt, we want to give directly when we just run our script. So how can we do it? So now we see this code, and let us make this new file. Let's say saving it, giving the name, step 2, and giving this code here. So what it does, it will import something like argparse. This is a module. It is built in Python package, so we do not need to install like we did for Moto 3. So it is already built in the core Python. So what we are doing here, we are actually giving some CLI argument structure here. So like text, we are actually for text, what type of data we are going to get, and what is the help function for this. We are defining this. Now you see, for source language code, for target language code, all are written here. So if we save this and if we run this, what is the name? Lab 5 step 2. So now if we run this, you see it did not do anything, right? So what we needed to do, we needed to provide the arguments with the command. So how could we do this? We needed to do this right like this. So like this. Let's say last time what we did, we gave the text like everyone feels sleepy. All right, then we give next argument, which is source language code. Then it is EN, and the target language. Then we give this target language, then code is BN. All right. So now we see here following our record text. So text, we are giving this, right? 5 to CLI, step to CLI. Oh, sorry, we didn't give the text here. I just missed it. Right, it's text. Okay, so now you see the সবাই নিদ্রালু বোধ করে. So it translated from English to Bengali, as I have given the CLI argument for this. We given the EN for the source language and target for the Bengali language. If we did not give the Bengali, we give French, it will translate in French language. Okay, tout le monde est sommeil. So it's okay. So let us see more how to get input from a file. All right. So now we need to create 2 files. The first one, we need to create a file with this name. So save this file and we put the code here. Okay, and we need to create another file. This is text.txt. So new file. So now save text.txt. So in this text.txt, we need to give this or anything, any text. So you want to actually translate. So what happens now? What we can do? So we in this file, we are opening the file. We are opening the text.txt file, and we are translating. So it's what we are doing is we are only opening actually. So okay, let me Python and let's run lab 5. Then step 3. All right, and then we are giving input text file, and then we are not giving any argument, CLI argument. So it is reading and it is actually printing the text, what it reads. So it is reading from the file. We are opening the file and reading the file, and as an input we are giving this text.txt. If this is in the same structure as the code file, it will find the text.txt and it will run, it will read the text inside and it will print it. So if I change the text, let's say the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. So I run this, save this and run this again, you will see the output changed, right? All right. So how we can actually get input from the file, we are learning from here. So for JSON is also a file format. For it's like a dictionary based, dictionary style file format. So let us create something. How much time we left? So for the 6 you are still present. How long you want to stay for this workshop? Wafik, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Are you not feeling sleepy?
No, I'm not feeling asleep.
Oh, that's very cool. Yeah, thank you. So we go further. So I don't go all the example, you can see it. JSON is like what we did in dictionary. So it is also some kind of structure in the JSON file. So JSON string. So we can give something like this. So program will read the file as an input. So it is very common. JSON is very common for working with AWS and other web technologies. So you can learn it yourself. If you have any question, please feel free to post on the Slack channel. All right, so we go over the loop now. So we go to the loop for the first time. This is a loop. So we can actually do it in the terminal also. That means in our interactive Python. So let us do it here. So let's see. So this is with the interactive Python, we are just declaring a fruit list. So this is a fruit list. So we are writing something like this for. This is a for loop. So what we are telling for item in fruit, then when we give enter, you see there is 3 dots, right? So you need to move your cursor to one tab spacing. So you just give a tab. Then you write the for block. So this is called block. So I write this. So what it happens, what it does when I run this finally, I give the, I press enter again, enter 2 times, then it will come back to the interpreter or interactive shell, and it prints the for loop print statement. So what it did, so we told our for loop to go through the fruit list and print the best fruit now is in each iteration. So item is iteration. So when for loop runs, it goes to the first item and then the second item, first item, then print, then go back to the loop and then go to the second element, then print corresponding suit, then go back to the for loop again, and it looks in the list, is there any other element? So it prints the last element. After then the for loop executes and end. So this is how simple the looping is. So we can do it with the numbers also. We can see this example here. So we are building a list of 0 to 10, these numbers. And now we are giving the same looping. Okay. So we are giving this the same way. But if you do not give the space, the tab spacing, it will give you error. So we need to make sure that we keep the indentation. So now we give the another enter, and this loop iterates over all the list items. So this is the list is started from 0 and it ends on the number 10 in the list. So this is how simple the looping is. So you can find another example, looping over JSON. This is also very simple. It looping over the JSON. So we will not, we can go here. We just make a file, give it a name. Let me give it this. All right. So give it this, the name, and we copy the codes. What it does, so we have already seen the parser in our previous example. So we are opening the file. So here are some JSON methods, which is called load and loads. You need to actually read through all of this to understand all this. So we are calling this method JSON method. So load for file object. So then we are defining the translate text function. So what we are doing here, so in the loop, for the loop, we are defining another function for translate loop. So here we are giving the input, open input function. We are calling this open input function. So after then, we are giving a for iteration here. So for item in the input text, so whatever input comes from this input function, so we iterate through the loops, for loops. So here, so we can see this in action. So so we need to translate file. So we need to translate. We need to create another file for this exercise, just a file with the name with translate input, and we need to copy this. So this is a JSON file. So JSON is like a dictionary. So it has key, and inside key you can have value, another dictionary you can have, or you can have multiple multiple level of nested dictionaries or nested data. So it doesn't matter actually. So we save this. we saved and save this also. And now when we run this program, we run from here, we just Control D, get out of the Python interactive shell. Then we run this Python left 6 step 2, this file, and giving the file argument and file name. So this is the file name. So these all are being translated. You see, our file contains which language? This is in English, right? So if we wanted to do something else, let's say we do it in Bengali. So how can we do it? So where did we translation arcs? So okay, check. Description, file, path. Can you see where is the argument for giving a program to translate the file in French? What is the target language? See the target language anywhere? Anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll see it later. All right. So this is how you can work with JSON. So we have seen the for loop using the JSON file, and we iterated over the JSON file. Okay. So now list comprehension. So what is list comprehension? Let's say we want to, what we can do, list comprehension, we can create list and we can modify list. So anything. So let's say here, this is a function, new list comprehension. So now this. All right, you can do it yourself. Also, I can show you later because we want to go very fast. So we go for if statement. This is really important one. So whenever you check something with your with your code, so you use some statements like if, else, elif. So how it works, let's see. So let us see here. A file and giving this and saving this file as left 7. .5. All right. So what it does here, we have seen that with the equal sign, we are actually assign, or we actually assign something. But when we check that if it is equality, or what we call is equivalent. So when we check if something is equivalent to something else, then we use this operator, this double equal operator. This is called the equivalent check or equality check. So these are some of the operators like double equal, and this is called not. This exclamation mark means the not. So not equal. This is means the not equal. This is greater than. This is also operator, and this is less than. This is all mathematical operator works in Python actually. So we can use our program. We can use operators in our program to check different conditions. So in this program, what we can see, we are checking if source language is equal to the target language. So if source language is equal, then print the source language is the same as the target language, and else means if block fails, that means this is false. If this is true, if this comparison is true, then it prints this. Otherwise, it will jumps back to this else and prints this. All right. So if this is not true, that means it's false, then it goes to the else. So we print this. All right. So let's see. So what we are doing here, we are importing JSON, and we are giving a JSON string as input, and so this is JSON string. It is actually holding. Can you do you understand what this code is doing? Actually, we have discussed it. The three or triple quotation can be used to print things as well. So if you have multiple lines of raw data, you can use this triple quote. It is not only used for the comment or docstring, it also used for the raw data, to process raw data as it is. So this JSON string will be inputted as it is, as we have typed here in here. So inside this triple quote, so this is a JSON block. So this block will be loaded into this method, loads method. Okay. So load method is used for files and loads used for strings. All right. So now we run this Python and lab 7. You see the source language and target language codes are different. And proceeding. So this was our code. So what was our source language and what was our target language? EN was our source and French was our target. So it checked and it found that the source and target is different. That's why it prints this code. But if we change this to EN, what happens? So it will give you the source language is the same as the target language. All right. So you can go over all this. When you check with different if, then you can actually divide your if statement with elif, and also you can optionally add the else. So for elif, also the same as if, you have to maintain the if this, if keyword, then the condition, whatever you want to check the condition, it can be any operator. So one thing to remember here, if statement will give you a Boolean value, true or false. So if statement logic or condition is true, then it execute the if block. Otherwise, it will go the next line, and if it finds something like elif, and elif also have something like, let's say you give some other condition. Let's say here you are giving, let's say a is greater than b. Let us check here, okay, and we just get out of it. So I just show you how the elif works. So a is bigger. Now we need to define a and b. So anywhere we define a equal to, let's say 10, a bigger or b bigger, we want to check, right? So b equal to 5. So just keep it simple. All right. So first it will check this. If the target language and source language is not same, so we need to change here. Otherwise, program will not continue. So now if we launch this, code ignored this because it check was this gives a false output. Then we got to this code, and elif statement we give another block, another condition, then the colon, and then a block. So this condition passed, and we printed a is bigger. So it is 11:51. I cannot touch all this because it is taking more time. So I think we take some questions from what you have learned today. We take some questions from the audience, and we finish at 12. All right. So the floor is open for everyone. Can you please, anyone, if you have any question, please ask me.
এটা তো আমরা AWS প্ল্যাটফর্মে কমান্ডগুলো এক্সিকিউশন করলাম। তো আমরা যদি এটা আদার প্ল্যাটফর্মে যাই তাহলে কি সেম কমান্ডই থাকবে নাকি কমান্ড চেঞ্জ হয়ে যাবে?
Especially for Boto 3 and translate, whichever we have done. I mean, আমরা যেগুলো Boto 3 নিয়ে কাজ করলাম এবং যেটা করলাম হচ্ছে আপনার ওই ট্রান্সলেট যে সার্ভিসটা আছে, ট্রান্সলেট এপিআই নিয়ে যেটা কাজ করলাম Boto 3 এর মাধ্যমে, এটা বাদ দিয়ে বাকি সবই যে কোনো জায়গায় আপনি আপনার নিজের কম্পিউটারে যদি শুধু একটা পাইথন ইন্টারপ্রেটার ইনস্টল করেন python.org থেকে, তাহলেই আপনি বাকি সব জিনিসগুলোই করতে পারবেন। সো শুধুমাত্র পাইথনের এখন পর্যন্ত যত কিছু, এই যে Cloud9, এটা হচ্ছে AWS এর একটা নিজস্ব একটা সার্ভিস। সো ইফ ইউ ওয়ান্ট টু হ্যাভ সামথিং লাইক দিস, এই AWS Cloud9 এর মতো একটা আইডি যদি চান, তো সেক্ষেত্রে আপনাকে অবশ্যই AWS এ কাজ করতে হবে। আদারওয়াইজ you can use any ID, or you don't need to use any ID at all. You can use simple notepad and run from your terminal.
I got it. বুঝতে পারছি।
Thank you.
আচ্ছা, আর আপনার কন্টাক্ট নাম্বার কি শেয়ার করা যাবে বা কোথাও?
Definitely.
আচ্ছা, থ্যাংক ইউ।
So actually আমি আরেকটা কোর্স করাই, একটা শুরু করেছি গত একটা ব্যাচ 1 করিয়েছি, ব্যাচ 2 এর জন্য আমার সার্কুলার আছে, যদি কেউ ইন্টারেস্টেড থাকেন ইউ ক্যান অলসো।
পাইথনের উপরে?
হ্যাঁ, পাইথন বিগিনারের উপরে আমি একটা কোর্স করাচ্ছি।
আচ্ছা, বেটার কন্টাক্ট নাম্বার দিলে তাহলে
ডেফিনেটলি মাই কন্টাক্ট নাম্বার আমি শেয়ার করতেছি এখানেই। আপনার actually if you go to the cloud camp, then you can directly find there.
Okay.
camp and go learn Python on AWS in
Mhm.
this channel, and you can directly message me. Okay, so
Okay, understand.
anyone interested, I will give. And
I got
contact
it.
number আমি শেয়ার করতেছি এখানে
Yeah.
চ্যাটে সবার জন্যই। So if you want to contact me, you can contact here.
Okay.
001-711-475567. This is the contact number.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. So anyone else have any question before we wrap up our session today?
No, sir.
Wafik, thank you for joining with us. I think you are the junior most one within these participants. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you,
have,
uncle.
all right, no problem. So দেখা হবে আবারও ওয়াফিক, তোমার সাথে এমনিতেও কথা হবে সামনে।
Okay, uncle. Thank you.
Anyone else? আপনাদের আর কারো কোনো কোয়েশ্চেন আছে? আমরা কি শেষ করব? মানে ফিল ফ্রি টু আস্ক, অ্যাকচুয়ালি নো প্রবলেম। আমরা 5 মিনিট থেকে মানে 5 মিনিট কোয়েশ্চেন নিতে পারি, তারপর আমরা শেষ করে দেই, 12টায় শেষ করে দেই।
আঙ্কেল, নেক্সট যে পাইথনের কোর্স ওটা কবে শুরু হবে?
আমি জানাবো। আমি আসলে প্ল্যান করছিলাম 31শে ডিসেম্বর থেকে শুরু করার, ওভাবেই দিয়েছিলাম আর কি। দেখি এখন ইট ক্যান চেঞ্জ। আমি তোমাকে জানাবো, মানে সবাইকেই জানাবো আর কি, হু আর ইন্টারেস্টেড। এটা হচ্ছে আমার পাইথনের যে কোর্সটা, ওখানে আমি যদি কেউ করতে চায় আর কি, সো ইট ইজ নট ম্যান্ডেটরি দ্যাট ইউ হ্যাভ টু ডু ইট।
আচ্ছা মাহমুদ ভাই, যেটা হচ্ছে মানে আপনার যে কোর্সটা করাবেন ওটা কি কোনো সার্টিফিকেশন, মানে লাইক AWS এর যে কোনো অ্যাসোসিয়েশন সার্টিফিকেশন আছে, সলিউশন আর্কিটেক্ট আছে?
না না না, এটা
এরকম
একদম
পাইথনের কি
জাস্ট টু আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড। এটা এখানে
আচ্ছা।
আসলে কোনো মানে ওরকম কোনো সার্টিফিকেশনের কোনো কিছু নাই। এটা
হুম।
শুধুমাত্র হচ্ছে আমি বেসিকটা দেওয়ার চেষ্টা করব, মানে যে পাইথনের যে
আচ্ছা।
বেসিকটা আছে, এই বেসিকটা হচ্ছে আপনার অনেকেই তো আসলে পাইথন শুরু করলে অনেকে মানে অনেক কিছুই হয়তো বোঝে না আর কি। সো আমিও যে খুব বেশি মাস্টার এই জায়গায়, বিষয়টা সেরকম না। বাট আমি যেটা করতে পারি সেটা হচ্ছে যে আমি সবাইকে মাস্টার হতে সাহায্য করতে পারি।
বুঝতে পারছি।
সো এটা পেইড কোর্স। সো
আচ্ছা,
এটা যদি কেউ করতে চায় দেন এভরিওয়ান ইজ ওয়েলকাম। আমি জাস্ট একটা লিংক এইখানে চ্যাটের মধ্যে দিয়ে দিচ্ছি। যদি মানে ইফ ইউ ফিল দ্যাট ইউ ওয়ান্ট টু কন্টিনিউ দেন ইউ ক্যান ডু ইট।
বুঝতে পারছি। তা এটাতে কোনো প্রজেক্ট ওরিয়েন্টেড থাকবে যে এতগুলো
না, এটা
project
শুধুমাত্র বেসিক। প্রজেক্টের
আচ্ছা।
জন্য আমি আলাদা কিছু ডিজাইন করতেছি। আমি অটোমেশন নিয়ে একটা কোর্স ডিজাইন করতেছি, আর হচ্ছে প্রজেক্ট নিয়ে, মানে প্রজেক্ট বলতে একদম ওয়েব ডেভেলপমেন্ট, মানে ডিফারেন্ট ফ্রেমওয়ার্ক নিয়ে আর কি।
বুঝতে পারছি।
ওরকম কিছু করার চেষ্টা করব আর কি। এখন আমি এখনো শিওর বলতে পারতেছি না যে আসলে কতটা কি করতে পারবো। সো এটা হচ্ছে ফর্ম। ও সরি, আমি মনে হয় একজনকে দিয়ে দিছি। Sorry for that. This is for everyone. This is the form link. So if anyone interested, no problem. And is there any question before I can take one more question.
বাংলাদেশের প্রেক্ষাপটে AWS এর ফিউচার কি? বাংলাদেশের প্রেক্ষাপটে
Fuse. I can tell you, nothing will be brighter than knowing AWS in next few years. I mean, not only AWS, the other cloud.
বাংলাদেশে কতটা কোম্পানি AWS এর সার্ভিস নিছে এই পর্যন্ত?
I'm not sure about that, but there are companies who are using and who are working with AWS technologies. There are, I think there are not a lot of companies, but there are many companies, I can say. All right, then thank you very much everyone for your time and patience for this 4 hour long, 4 hour, right? Yeah, 4 hour long session. So thank you very much for attending this class and this session. And I think everyone learned something. And I also learned from you. Thank you very much and hope to see you again in another session in future.
Okay,
And
thank you.
I'm closing the session now. And you can definitely communicate with
Okay.
Slack channel. All right. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Uncle. Bye bye.
Bye.